Hey guys, welcome to the psychology section, and I am going to teach you as much as I can about your brain and the tools you need to become a profitable trader in this market. And it all starts with your mind. Like, people think it's purely technical analysis. It's probably 90% psychology, 10%, being able to analyze the market. I want to teach you the habits that bad traders have, good traders have, being robotic, working a 9 to 5, realistic Forex goals, the goals and rewards, you will give yourself for making a certain amount of money, losing a certain amount of money, all of that good stuff. So make sure you stick around, pay attention, and watch every single video, because this is, in my opinion, the most important section here. And it's the difference between having an off switch and an on switch, and learning how to actually trade and being profitable in this market. So I'll see you guys inside. We are here. Guys, welcome. We are starting the risk management section in series 2. And this video is called the honeymoon phase, because after going through everything in series 1, or if you skipped series 1 and the first thing you bought was series 2, because you already know the intro to Forex in general, then you are definitely experiencing the honeymoon phase right now. And this video may not go over well. You guys may not like this video, but it is definitely much needed for the long road ahead. For you guys to get in your mind. So I want to discuss exactly what the honeymoon phase is. The honeymoon phase is obviously just like with a relationship. When you meet a new girl for the first time, or a new guy, you're in the honeymoon phase. Everything about them is great. They can do no wrong. And it's the same with Forex, where it's like you came across this job and this skill set where all right, I've been working a dead-end job for the last few years, or I've been doing X, Y, and Z the last few years and barely making ends meet. And now I know I can, if I really put my head down, I can make a lot of money, trading in the market. And while that is true, I want to kind of ground a lot of you guys real quick and kind of go over some key steps and some key ideas really quick. So on this slide, right now, Forex is the most exciting thing you've ever heard about. If you heard about it years ago, you'd be a millionaire right now. Everybody says that. Everybody says, if I heard about this 5 years ago, 10 years ago, I would be a millionaire right now. And the sad reality of it is, chances are that also may not be true as well, because everybody does not have the discipline to actually be a good trader. Everybody, tries to force it, or is so focused on the money that they skip learning the process. They say, all right, I'm gonna quit my job in 3 months, as if like you can walk into the skill set and within 3 months you're fine. You don't got to worry about a single thing. You got everything down packed. You got everything under control. You're this great trader. You're one of the best traders in the world. You know what I mean? I've been studying for about a week. I'm about to start my live account. Yo, swag. I'm about to start my live account on Monday. And then in about 2 months, I'm going to be exactly where you are right now. You need to relax and calm down. Please, please, please calm down. I'm not trying to burst your bubble, but that's exactly what that's exactly what I'm trying to do. That's what I'm gonna do. You guys gotta relax. I'm at this point because I've been trading the market for the last 5 years. You know what I mean? Going on 6. My first 2-3 months, I felt the exact same way, except I was already 19 years old, so I didn't feel like if I learned about this years ago, I'd be a millionaire. I'm like, yo, I'm in such a good spot that I can learn right now. But at the end of the day, you have to be realistic. Whatever job you're working right now, if you're in a high position, you didn't just start there unless you had a lot of credentials. You worked your way up the ladder, you know what I mean? And same with, any type of job in the world, any type of sport where it's like you have to work on your craft for years. People just don't walk into the NBA. They've been playing in college basketball. They played in high school basketball. They played AAU. They did everything, you know what I mean? So you can't, this is a $1 trillion market, and you can't have never heard about this for your entire life, and then out of nowhere be like, all right, in 3 months I'm gonna be X, Y, and Z. I'm gonna be making 10,000 a month and 20,000. You gotta relax. Don't even worry about the money right now. You need to take all the time in the world to study everything in series 1, 2, 3, and 4, and all the others. The reason why people fail is because what I said at the bottom. Listen, understand. When you understand that you will lose money in this market, that's when things get easier. People think they can come in here and they just automatically are like, the market is like, all right, I'm a win, 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 win. You guys understand? I still lose money in the market. The difference is my risk management is on 1,000. I always have a 1 to 3, 1 to 4 risk to reward ratio. And, obviously with risk to reward ratio, when you lose, I could lose a couple times and all I got to do is win 1 or 2 trades and I'm good, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? But I obviously win more than I lose, but I still lose, and you guys will lose. Understand, this will be one of the most frustrating things you've ever done. I almost cried because I lost $6 when I was a sophomore in college when I first started, because that's all I had. And I thought, like, all right, just like y'all thought, in 3 months, I'm going to be dropping out of college. I'm going to be X, Y, and Z. I only got $10. Let me throw my last $10 for my refund check, knowing I'm broke in college, into this, Forex account, and then try to flip it. And then I lost like $6, $7. And I literally almost cried. I literally was like, what am I doing? Like, is this even for me? You know what I mean? Like, you're every single trader has had a moment where they sat and thought, like, is this for me? Can I do this? And that is their make or break line, where people, fall off the ledge, or they, conquer it. Just like I said in the bottom, only 10% of traders are consistently profitable. 90% of traders can't control their mind enough to remain disciplined. A lot of people, most of the people, 90% of people, look at the first three, Forex being the most exciting thing, like these first three. And then once they get that reality check, that it's going to take some time and it's not an overnight thing, and they're going to be frustrated, they quit. They jump off the ledge. They realize that this is not a get rich quick scheme. This is not an MLM. This is nothing. This is literally you just trading the market. You know what I mean? So understand that it takes time. And it sounds so easy to hear. All right, it takes time. I'll give it time. No, like, are you willing to put 2 years down before making real profit? Like, you can make, $500 here and $800 here. I'm talking about, like, 5,000 a month, 6,000 a month, 2,000 a month, 10,000 a month, 20,000 a month. You know what I mean? I'm talking about, like, real big money. Do you have the patience to wait 2, 3 years before you start seeing that? You know what I mean? Or it could happen in a year and a half if you really dive in and focus. But chances are you have a daughter, you have a son, you have a wife, you have a husband, you have, distractions. So that's why I give it more years. I probably could have been great at this market in my first year and a half if my dad didn't die, obviously, and my ex-girlfriend at the time, I wasn't arguing with her 24/7, and I didn't play college basketball, and I was just focused on this. Yeah, but the reality is we all have distractions. So I want you to understand, settle down. This is definitely amazing. This is definitely inspirational. This is definitely, one of the greatest things you'll ever come across. But understand, a lot of people lose their money in this thing, not because they don't know how to read a chart. Reading a chart is very, very easy, as you will see, the more you dive into the series. It's all psychology. They can't control their mind. They can't be patient enough. They can't be disciplined enough to understand it takes time. It's not taking time where it's like, and I talk about this in another section called half-assing, where it's like, it doesn't take time where I'm going to do X, Y, and Z all day, then put 30 minutes into the market, and then hopefully in 6 months, I'll be here. It's like, you got to make sure, like, the same energy you put into your job or your spouse or your whatever, you got to put into this market. That's, unfortunately, that's the only way to conquer this market. Like, I became obsessed with this market. Not obsessed where it's like it consumes me, but obsessed to the point where it's like, yo, I didn't make it to the NBA. I didn't really play in college. I got on reality TV and then, went home twice. This is my thing. And as long as I stay focused, nobody can take that away from me. Reality TV, somebody has to hire you. Your job, somebody has to hire you. The NBA, somebody has to think you're good enough. This market, it's just me. It's just me in the market. It's just the only thing that's blocking me is my mind. And once you guys all realize that, the honeymoon phase will be over, and the more robotic phase where it's like, all right, I'm here to do a job. I'm here to win money. That is it. If I lose money, it's cool. I'm still here to execute a job. That phase starts to happen, and that is an amazing phase to be in. So I hope this video kind of, humbled you guys and settled you guys down a little bit, to like where it's like, it's great to be hyper, but control that hyper and understand you're in for a long haul, and the rewards are very, very lucrative if you just stick to it. So I'll see you guys in the next video. What up, guys? Another video. So we're going to talk about rewarding yourself in this market. A lot of people have problems doing that, and it may sound a lot, easier than it should be. Like, oh, why wouldn't you reward yourself or do X, Y, Z? Let me break it down, what you should be doing with your profits in the Forex market and how to go about it. I definitely explained it a lot more in series 3 and 4, but let me just, start with at least series 2. So first things first. Understand what money is and why you're a day trader. understand these things. Like, what are you looking to gain? Ask yourself these questions. What is going to get you going? In other words, what is your why? Why are you here? Like, you didn't have a love for investing and trading when you were 6 years old, when you were, because, and mind you, that may seem like a stretch, but I babysat some kids in Greenwich who literally, when I was broke at 22 years old, they were like, oh, I'm looking at the stock market. Yo, you're in second grade. Like, what do you know what I mean? Like, so it's like, you guys didn't have that. You guys didn't love the market at 16. You guys didn't love it at 20. And some from our older people, you guys didn't even love it at 30. You always thought it was risky. And now you love it. So there's no problem with coming into the market later, because me, I came into the market at 19. I wasn't there at 6. I wasn't there at 12. You know what I mean? But when you come, you gotta develop a love for it, like, and understand certain questions. Like I said, what are you looking to gain from this? Obviously financial freedom, but everybody's looking for financial freedom in this market. What is going to separate you that you're going to get it? Are you a struggling parent? Do you have family issues? Have you just been broke for the last 10 years, 5 years? Are you not passionate about anything else in life, and my videos have given you some kind of motivation? Like, what are you looking to gain with this, and what is going to get you going? You got to understand what's going to get you going, because like I said in my previous videos, you're going to get frustrated at sometimes. And when you're frustrated, you have to look at those things that are going to get you going. Like for me, it was, all right, my dad just died. Having problems with my girlfriend. I'm not playing college basketball. I want to show not just everybody, but even myself, that I can be the best at something. You know what I mean? And I studied my craft day and night effortlessly over and over and over again. You know what I mean? So that's one thing. And the only way to stay motivated, throughout time, is to reward yourself. Do not feel, and I forgot to put bad, but do not feel bad for spending your profits. So when I say the only way to stay motivated to reward yourself is, if you make $1,000 in the market, right, and you just leave it in there, it does nothing for you, because you're in like this, endless race, this rat race, where it's like, all right, cool, made some money, but you just left it in there. If you take 500 out of that 1,000 out and leave 500 in the account, so now your account just grew 500 more dollars, and with that 500 that you took out, you pay a bill, or you go on a vacation to, Cancun or Los Angeles or New York, just somewhere, or doing something with that money. When you come back to the market, you're like, yo, I just sat at my desk, on my computer, or on my phone, and with the click of a button, I just got a trip to Cancun, or I just bought a bag, or I just paid my mom's, light bill or electric bill, or sent my daughter to daycare, or did something with this money, with the market. So I know there's more. If I just study a lot harder, that 1,000 that I made, but I only took 500 out, I can make 20,000 and take 10,000 out. Because you always want to slowly leave some money in there, because it grows the account. So if you start with $1,000 or $2,000 and you make 10,000, you don't want to take all 10 out, because you're going to start right back where you at 1,000 or 2,000. But if you take 6,000 out and leave 4,000 in, now you're trading with a $5,000-$6,000 account instead of a $2,000, $1,000 account. That makes sense. And like I said, the only way to stay motivated is if you constantly reward yourself. Not with every winning trade, but once a week, once a month. It doesn't feel bad, you know what I mean, to actually, reward yourself for understanding this skill set. Don't confuse that with aimlessly spending your money. That doesn't mean every time you make money, just blow it, yada, 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 because there are taxes, which I get into in series 4. Don't just blow it, but don't feel bad for spending money. Like, we're not on our phones, and we're not learning the skill set just to, make $100,000 in trading and to leave it in there and be scared and be on defense the whole time. We are here to provide a good life. We don't know when our life is going to end. Our life can end tomorrow. It can end next week. It can end next year. Or a close one of ours who we're trying to do this for can end before ours. You know what I mean? And that can push you back. I know what it's like to have your focus, knee deep in something, and then lose a loved one like my dad, and it pushes you back 5 months. And now for the next 5 months, you're not even focused on trading. You don't even care about it no more, because your loved one just went away. You know what I mean? So you got to make the most of it while you're here. So I also understand we do not have a championship like actual sports do. So we need to forcefully create one. What that means is, in all sports, they are playing for the end goal, the trophy at the end. You know what I mean? Winning that championship ring. In college, you're studying, obviously, to be educated and get a job afterwards, but you're studying to get that degree, walk on stage and say you graduated. You're doing something. in this market, or even in also 9 to 5 jobs in the world, you're working to hopefully become that manager or that executive. In the market, there's nothing. So we have to forcefully create one. You know what I mean? We have to forcefully be like, all right, if I make $5,000, I am out. I'm going to Thailand for 30 days and I'm not talking to nobody. I'm turning my phone off. I'm just going to enjoy. That's my championship. Or my championship is paying my mom's rent for the year. Or my championship is cleaning out my student loan debt. Then I'm done for, when I say done, after you win a championship ring in all sports or anything in general, you take like a little break, a 2 week break, 3 week break to kind of relax and soak it all in. And you get back to it. You know, same with me. When I make a good amount of money in the market, you know, my wife put me onto this where it's like, you made a good amount. Take whatever you want out of that and let's do something. Let's go here. Let's get this. Let's give back. Let's donate to a charity. Let's give a kid a scholarship, or let's go on vacation and relax and smell the roses while you're here, because you never know when it could end. And then when your mindset is cleared, go back to it, because you want your mindset to always be cleared, never be cluttered. Always make sure you're still compounding your account. I talked about that in the beginning, where if you're making money, try to take 40, 50, 60, 70% out of it, but always leave some money in that account that you made, because you want to always grow the account. And this is a formula for a good day trader: an accurate balance of growing your account while splurging on the things you deserve. Doesn't mean every time you make money, take it all out and spend it. No, you need to have a balance of growing the account, leaving some money in there, but also getting the things you deserve. Because remember, we are doing this for somebody, or we're doing this for ourselves. When I say somebody, I mean like your wife, husband, daughter, son, whatever. Or we're doing it just for ourselves. We don't have none of that. We're trying to get ourselves out of debt. We're trying to be great at this. Where if I study for a few years at this, I really don't got to work for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? This is my work for the rest of my life, and this is a good job to have. So I hope this video helped you guys out a lot. Start thinking of ways to reward yourself. Create like a whole list on like things you can do when you make certain money or a certain amount of money, and then you guys will definitely feel like you feel more motivated to get the next goal, the next goal, the next goal. It's always something next, if that makes sense. So hope this video helped you guys out, and then I will holler at you guys to the next one. This is very, very important. This has to do with trading, but not so much. I'm going to talk about steps to help you get to your overall goal in trading. Do not feel bad if you have to work a 9 to 5 or do anything while you're learning how to trade. Not at all. Most people do that, and they have done that. Damn near everybody. But you need some type of stable income until trading becomes stable. Do not, and I repeat, do not quit your job if you are not profitable in trading and don't have a track record of 6 months, a year, X, Y, Z, and your expenses are only, X amount of dollars versus like 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. You know what I mean? But if you're at a 9 to 5 job right now, one that you hate, stick it out while you're learning how to trade. It could take you 2 years to learn how to trade, 1 year, 3 years, 4 years. Stick it out. If you're at a 9 to 5 job that you love and you want trading to be part-time, that's perfect. Keep the job, learn how to trade part-time. You have the best of both worlds. But don't ever let anybody make you feel bad for working a 9 to 5 while learning how to trade. Y'all know the story of me. I don't like 9 to 5s. I don't like people being in control of my time and all that extra stuff. So I became a babysitter, which is still technically working for somebody, but I have a lot more freedom where it's like I'm only working Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. I needed a guaranteed income while learning how to trade, because when you're learning how to trade, nothing is guaranteed. It's still not guaranteed now, but it's easier to trade because I know what I'm doing, I'm experienced. But as a babysitter, I was getting $400, $500 per week. So especially living in Bridgeport as a 23-year-old kid, getting $1,500 to $2,000, a month, and my expenses weren't too high, was pretty good. Now I had like loans and stuff, but I didn't pay them, which is why my credit score was bad, and I just paid off my Sallie Mae on my YouTube a few weeks ago in cash. But while learning how to trade, I funded my account through the babysitting money I was making, and the issue was that statement I just said right there. I was funding my live account with babysitter money, but I also didn't know how to trade. I was rushing the process. Stay on a demo account, or start a short live account with like $100 or $200, like some easy money, quick money, and work on your psychology and work on your consistency that way. Don't ever, if you're just starting out, start out with 500, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 off the rip, because you haven't really experienced live emotions yet. Start out with like a small account, get the live emotions underway, and then work your way and build your way up, if that makes sense, to, all right, let me deposit more money in, because you already know how to really trade and work with a small account. But this is part of the psychology section, because it's also a mindset switch for yourself. Don't even feel embarrassed for working a 9 to 5 when you see me or other traders, trading. Don't be such in a rush to quit your job. Like, granted, the goal is to quit, but just like the first video of the realistic Forex goals here, be realistic about it. Be like, all right, within the next 2 years, I would love to be away from this job and trading full time. Like, that sounds realistic enough. But don't say by the end of this month, I'm going to make $30,000 and I'm going to quit my job. Like, no, like, you have to be consistent. And also understand, anybody can have a good trading week. Anybody. It's called luck, especially beginner's luck. But to do it over a period of time, over 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, that's when it becomes more tricky and difficult. And long story short, keep saving your money, paying off your bills, and keeping money in your account in general. And whenever you get to the point where you feel like you're comfortable to start a live account, use some of that money to fund your live account, but do not quit your job until you know how to accurately trade and you have a track record showing it. I had that, and I need you guys to do the same thing as well. I don't like 9 to 5s, but if I didn't, if I was still in the process of learning how to trade, I would still be babysitting right now. Like, there's nothing wrong with getting guaranteed income somewhere else, cutting grass, coding websites, anything to fund your long-term goal. I think people are so, back to the point about bad habits that traders have, they're not patient and they're not willing to sacrifice a little bit for the long-term greater good. Like, I was cutting grass, I was pulling out flowers and weeds, and like I said, wiping babies and driving cars and picking kids up from prom. And it's like, I was doing all of that just to get a little bit of money to, save for myself and help the overall goal. And now that I'm rich, a lot of the kids that I babysit are looking at me like, wow, like, when I was babysitting, it wasn't like they were 1 or 2 years old. Like, I have some kids who I babysit who were like that, but they were like 10 or 11 or 11, 12. So they were fully aware. And now 3, 4 years later, they're 16 and 15 in high school. They're like, yo, this kid was my babysitter. He was broke a few years ago. Like, you know what I mean? So don't be afraid or embarrassed to do anything. I don't care how old you are. I was 23 years old being a babysitter. So do not be afraid, and Tyler Perry says it best, don't despise humble beginnings, because God has to put you in a moment of understanding and humility where you got to understand where you came from. So when you do become rich or even wealthy, which is the goal, you understand what it's like to be poor or even struggling, or not even struggling financially, but struggling to learn a new skill. You will appreciate it a lot more and hone in on that craft when you get to that top tier level. And now that I'm at this level, I'd never forget where I was a few years ago. You know what I mean? Let alone 5, 10 years ago when I was younger. So long story short, don't despise humble beginnings, and work your way to the top in this trading game. Just like you would any other job or any other profession, work your way to the top, because I'm sure you will get there. Holla at you guys. So in this video, I want to break down the exact habits that bad traders have. And there can be a list of, 10, 20, but I'm just going to break it down to about a list of 5 or 6, because these are the most important ones that I've seen, that I've experienced over, my time as a trader. Number 1 is not being disciplined. If you're not disciplined in this market, you have no shot of making money or making this a part-time or even a full-time income. Excuse me. And discipline can be, a number of things. If you have a trading plan, which I elaborate more in the next series, if you have a trading plan and you go against it, that's being, that's not being disciplined. If, you have a certain amount of money in your account and you're risking over 20% and 50%, that's not being disciplined. You know what I mean? Like, you have to be disciplined and solid on your foundation, on your trading plan, on your methods, and even on just Forex Bible practices in general, where it's like you shouldn't risk more than X amount of, percentage of your account. Always use a stop loss. Don't listen to these, gurus who are telling you don't use a stop loss, and stop losses are for, kids and lose. No, like you need a stop loss to protect yourself. Having greed is another thing that bad traders have, which I need you guys not to have. And I said this in the first video, which was, I forgot what the first video was. It was realistic Forex goals. So I have like the list right here on the website. But greed, just in general, you guys have to set goals for yourself and what you want to make in the market, but don't have greed. And it's tough, which is why psychology is the hardest thing to master in this market. But like, I get it. If your goal for the month is $1,000 and you're up $1,500, it's hard not to just let it run, because maybe you may get 3,000 or 4,000 or 5,000. You know what I mean? I would never say flat out do that. What I'm telling you is be very, very mindful. If your goal for the month or the week is $1,000 and you're up 1,500, close 800 of that trade, at least in your account, so you already have the majority of your goal in your account, or close $1,000, put that into your account. It's called partial profit. And then let the other 500 run, because that other 500 may get to 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, or it may just get to 1,000, or it may close as break even. At the end of the day, if it closes as break even, because at that point you would have moved your stop loss into actual take profit, which I'll elaborate on later in the course, you at least hit your goal of $1,000. Does that make sense? So be mindful of having greed. Don't just let the 1,500 run in total. If you're somebody who is in profit and in a lot of profit, and a lot of profit could even be $500, but depending on the lot size. Because if you're $500 in profit, but you use a 3 lot size or a 4 lot size, you're not that much money in profit. You know what I mean? But if you use a 0.10 or a 0.30 lot size and you're up $500, that is a lot of money. And you can't afford to be making a lot of money and to not bank some of that into your account as guaranteed income. I'm in the middle of teaching you guys how to trade naked, meaning nothing is on the chart, versus having an indicator or two versus having a million indicators and being purely indicator based. A lot of people mess up by using too many indicators and relying on so many different softwares, because they all lag. Like even the moving average is probably the only indicator I use that lags. You know what I mean? Like you don't want to, have your trading be, relying on something that lags a few hours behind the actual price. It also clogs up your eyesight. Like when you look at a chart, the goal is to have the knowledge to understand what's going on. But in order to have the knowledge to understand what's going on, you need the eyesight. You got to look at something and be like, wow, this looks really good. Like, you know what I mean? Like I know what I'm looking at. You can't have too many different cluttered things and think you're going to be able to make money in the market. Now, if you work better in chaos, then more power to you. I just know the majority of people in this world need somewhat of a clean chart. And when your chart is all messy, it just clutters your eyesight and your vision on accurately predicting what's going on in the market. Not having patience. So predicting where the market is going to go is probably the easiest part in the market. We all can look at a chart right now and say if it's going up or going down. The issue with us is timing. You know what I mean? Like we may get in right here when you should have gotten right here. So by the time you got in right here, it's already coming down to retrace, and you may think it's going down. It's going down technically, but it's not really going down. It's just retracing, and you just miss the original opportunity to go up with it. It's patience. It's also patience in the sense of waiting for it to get to an exact point. So if price is at a support and you think it's going to drop down, but it's right on the support and you think it's going to go all the way down, and you sell immediately and then it reverses up, you didn't have the patience to wait for it to break and close below that support to guarantee you that it's going down. You just did it because off of your instinct and assumptions. And one thing that I want to convey to you guys, and I'll elaborate on it later, is that the banks and the markets don't care about you or your feelings at all. You guys are retail traders. You guys make up, if that 10%, 5%, but most likely 10% of the market. The majority is consumed by the institutions and central banks and big companies. and the government, and we're just regular retail traders. So the market doesn't have to do anything. It doesn't have to go down or it doesn't have to go up. Our job, what I'm trying to get you guys to see, is to have a foundation to be more reactive. Our goal is not to assume, it's to react. And the fifth and final thing I'll probably say, the habits that bad traders have, is that they assume too much. Like, I understand, day trading or investing has a certain percentage of assuming to it, because at the end of the day, nothing is guaranteed. So it's like, all right, I'm assuming it's going up, I'm assuming it's going down. But they're assuming with no, like, I wouldn't say no reason. They have a little bit of a reason. They have a little bit of confluences, but they have no, confluence in the sense of it closed. You know what I mean? Like, they didn't wait for a closure. They didn't wait for a different session. They didn't wait for an announcement to come out. They didn't wait for, a lower high to be made and then go back up. They just went off of how the market looks right now. Let me just get in. And what I'm trying to convey to you guys and to understand is you guys need to react to the market. When the market bounces off support, buy it. If it bounces off of resistance, sell it. If you see a moving average crossover and you see, a morning star and then a confirmation candle like a Mariposa heading back up, buy it. Like, react to what the market is doing, but make sure you stay disciplined and it makes sense, which is why I have the risk management section. I believe it's right above this, maybe below. I haven't sorted out the importance of videos yet. But in risk management, where it's like, I only take a trade if it makes sense. I don't care how good it looks. If it doesn't align, this is where discipline comes in. If it doesn't align with my goals of a 1-to-3 or 1-to-4 risk to reward ratio, I'm not trading it. Or more, I'm not trading it. It could be 1-to-1. I won't trade it because I can do 50 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio trades, and I need to win more trades and not lose. Whereas if I have a 1-to-4 or 1-to-3 or higher, I can lose several trades, and all I gotta do is win like 2 or 3, and I'm already in profit out of the 10 I lost. Now, it doesn't mean I have a 30% win rate, not me at all by any means, but it's like the safety zone where it's like, all right, I know that if I lose 4 trades in a row, all I gotta do is win 1, and I'm already back in profit. You know what I mean? So stay in discipline, be impatient, be more reactive than, assuming what the market is gonna do. Don't have greed. Don't revenge trade. Like, when you lose a trade, all right, I just lost $100. I need that back. Let me go back. No. Say this with me, the more you revenge trade, the more money you will lose because your emotions aren't there. This is psychology. You see how level-headed and calm I am right now? This is how you got to be when you trade in the market. And in this section, I have a robotic section, which I'll talk more about, revenge trading on it. But just know in your mind right now, you cannot lose a trade and be so riled up that you want to get right back in the trade. That's not how trading works. I'll elaborate that more in the robotic video, but I hope those 5 to 6 habits you guys can learn from, ingrain it in your head. I'm pretty sure if you've been trading for some time now, you've experienced all of them, and now it's time to chuck those to the side and focus directly on the habits that good traders have and incorporate that into your trading arsenal. So I'll see you guys in the next video. So the habits that good traders have is really the opposite of the habits that bad traders have. You need to be disciplined. You need to be very, very patient with the market. And I call this, patiently aggressive, meaning be patient until the market gives you exactly what you want and exactly what you're looking for. And then be aggressive in that moment. Like, go in, have the confidence to execute that trade. Don't second guess yourself. Don't hesitate. Don't do none of that. And patience and confidence kind of goes hand in hand. You need to be confident in your ability to trade. You got to understand, you paid X amount of dollars for this course. You pay X amount of dollars for somebody else's course. You studied for free on YouTube and on other sites on Google. You've done the research. Why are you not confident in executing a trade? And that's more of a rhetorical question because I get it, because my first year, and I talked about this in the Eric Thomas, rebuild series on YouTube. You can go check it out if you haven't watched it yet. What turned around for me was my confidence. I said that I started becoming a better trader in my third year because I realized you've been trading in the market for 2 to 3 years now. You have nothing to show for it. Why? Because when you get to that point to trade, you're so scared to lose money, and you know every definition in the book. You know when the announcements drop. You know the session you're trading. You trade the same pairs over and over again. What's the issue? And really, it was just a mental flip. I knew how to trade technical analysis. I knew when announcements dropped. It was my confidence where it was like, all right, I'm going to get in this trade. How many times have you been in a, or about to get in a trade, and you said, if it gets right here, I'm going to get in. And the minute it got there, you either saw like a doji or something to make you be like, all right, let me wait for it to, either go back up a little bit or come back down, depending on if it's an uptrend or downtrend. And you waited, and then let's say, for instance, you wanted to buy it, and you said when it gets here, you're gonna buy it. It got here, doji, relaxing. You didn't get in the trade. You turn around, you go take a shower, you watch TV, you look at it again, and it's all the way up. And it's like you just missed out on so much profit. Same goes, in a downtrend, because you didn't get in at your exact price. Stick to your guts. And that is where risk management comes into play, because if you have a 1 to 3, 1 to 4, 1 to 5 risk to reward ratio every single trade, you're not so scared about losing, because you know that, hey, this is exactly where I wanted to get to. I'm going to enter the trade right here, right now. If I lose, guess what? I got to lose 5 more of these things and just win 1 to be profitable. You know what I mean? So be confident in your trades. Be patient, but be patiently aggressive, which is obviously, when it gets to that moment, have the confidence to execute. Be disciplined and follow your trading plan. If you don't know how to make a trading plan, it's in the next series. I talk about it extensively, about my trading plan and how to create one for yourself. But make sure you follow these steps, because this is what all the good traders have. They're also robotic, which I will get into in the next video, where it's like, they win a trade, great. They lose a trade, cool. You know what I mean? It's not so much, oh my gosh, I just want to trade. Like, now, if you're just starting and you win your first trade, celebrate. But great traders get to the point where they're making money and it's just another day on the job. Like, I made $15,000 on gold yesterday, and I was happy, but I wasn't like, oh my gosh, like no, it was a quick 15 piece, chalk it up, post it on my story. Where's the next trade? You know what I mean? Like, you gotta have you gotta understand in your mind that you are here to do a job for you and a job for your family. You are what's standing in the way of making money and losing money for you and your family. It sounds really crazy, but at the end of the day, there's nothing stopping you from making money and losing money in the market except for yourself. Like at jobs, you have a salary, bosses can promote you, they can promote somebody else and not you, you know what I mean? You're the only one stopping you from making money, you know what I mean? So this is where you gotta be robotic, where it's like, I'm here to do a job, I'm cool, calm and collected. If I win, I win. I lose. But I know if I stay disciplined and I have the confidence, over time, it'll add up to the point where it's like, all right, I'm a profitable trader. But like I said, there's a lot more traits that bad traders have than good traders have, because there's not many good traders in the world. There's a reason why they say 90% of traders fail, because nobody can get over that threshold and that bump of the lack of patience, the lack of discipline, having too messy of a chart, relying on too many indicators and revenge trading and greed. Like, too many people can't get over that. But if you can get over that, chances are you are very patient. You have the risk management down, which is very, very important to being a good trader. You know what I mean? You're patient, you're disciplined, you're aggressive when the times come, you're confident. It's really the exact opposite of the habits bad traders have. And I want you guys to do this. This is actually the homework for this video. The next time you place a trade or you're about to place a trade, stick to your guns, good or bad. If you're looking at Euro USD and you say, whenever it gets to this point, I'm going to sell it. When it gets to that point, sell it. Have a take profit, have a stop loss, sell it, and let it play out. There's a reason why you have a stop loss, and I'll talk more about where your stop loss should be later in the actual academy. But there's a reason you have a stop loss. Let it breathe. If you're a little bit, negative, good traders don't automatically get out the trade and then, wait. It may be a little bit of drawdown before you get into overall profit. Relax. Stick to your guns. If you lose, great. That's one. Do the same thing 5 more times with that same pair or a few other pairs. All you gotta do is win one trade to be profitable. And that's on the worst case scenario side. Best case scenario is you win 5 trades and you lose 2. Now you're so much in profit, you know what I mean? So the homework is, the next time you're about to place a trade, I don't care how scared you are. Not on demo, on a live account. It could be even a small live account. It could be a $50 or $100 account. If you have an analysis on a pair and you have a bias towards that pair, and you have I wouldn't say a perfect, but an ideal entry, enter at that exact point whenever it gets there. That's what will help you build the confidence and the knowledge to be like, all right, in the future when I have a bigger live account or an investor account, I just got to execute. That's all it is. Like, last thing I'll say is, you guys in this position right now, you guys are probably texting your friends, group chats with the Swag Academy, saying, oh my gosh, Euro USD, USD CAD, GBP, AUD, gold went up. I knew it was going to go up. Why didn't you get in? Why didn't you get in? You were scared to execute. And good traders execute. And I want you guys to execute as homework on your next live trade, your next few live trades, and see how you feel. Whether you win or lose, that's irrelevant. Just execute. Get in the habit of executing, and you'll be in a lot better space a few months from now as a trader. So I will see you guys in the next video. It is probably called robotic, but I will see you guys there. A lot of you guys have asked me, what's indicators really were, and how to really incorporate it in your trading. If you were in my last academy, I didn't really have too many indicator teachings there. I just had the moving average only because I don't use it, but I can kind of break some things down just in case some of you guys may use it, because this new academy, this 2.0 academy that we're launching, or that we just launched, the entire goal of the academy in the first place, is to give you a foundation to trade. My goal is to teach you everything that I know in my brain, and kind of guide you guys through these steps, and for you guys to take my strategies and everything that I've taught you guys, and kind of formulate your own trading plan and what you like and don't like. Some of you guys may like moving averages, you know what I mean? You guys may like seeing your charts like this, and some of you guys may not like it there at all. But here are some obviously indicators you can use to I guess help your trading. They haven't helped mine except the moving average, but I know people who use indicators and they love them. The first one is the moving average. So all your indicators will be right here. You will type, I went through it in series 1 on how to get the exact moving averages I have, but it's all in there. If you want either the 1 moving average or the 2, that's the moving average right there. This indicator, mind you, all indicators lag, but this indicator, tells you, basically if the blue moving average is over the red, price is heading up. If red is over the blue, which could be over here, price is heading down. Simple. Other indicators, there's one that's called the Bollinger Band. And what it does is it's like a channel basically that basically allows you to see, how strong a trend really is. So if the Bollinger Bands are really, really close, that just means it's consolidation. And then once they expand and get wider and wider and wider, that just means, just like this, that just means, there's a clear trend right now. It's moving in a certain direction, get in the trade. So obviously you have the moving average of the Bollinger Bands right there. Another indicator would be stochastic, which basically tells you when the market is overbought or oversold. I'm sorry, I got stocks autocorrect. Yeah, so it's right here. It tells you when the market's been overbought or oversold. What they're saying is whenever, this indicator is below 20, the strength, it basically means the market is oversold and it needs to go up soon. Anytime the market gets over 80, that just means, it's overbought and it needs to go back down soon. And you can see clear as day how it's not that simple, because right here it's way over 80, 87, 87, 87, 88, 90, 94, and the market is still heading up. You see a little bit of red candles, but the market is just heading up. And then finally we get a little bit of a drop, and now it's going all the way down to 40. You know what I mean? So, but some people use stochastic, some people use RSI, which is the same thing. Feel free to use the ADX, which is the average daily range. Let's see, directional index. There we go. Average directional index. Basically, what this tells you is whenever the price point of this indicator is below 20, that just means it's not much of a trend. It's not that strong. Anytime it's really over 50, that just means it's a clear, strong trend heading straight down, heading straight up. That just means it's a clear trend. You see right here, it's at 15, 16, and all the market is doing is just retracing. I mean, not retracing, consolidating. You know what I mean? So that's another thing you can use. And then on top of that, you can use, obviously, the volume as well, which is another strengthening tool that tells you how strong a trend really is and how, how slow it really is. Now, you have the moving average, you have the Bollinger Band, you have the volume, you have the stochastic, aka RSI, same thing, which is the relative strength index, and then you have the ADX, the average directional index. Now, a lot of people use this, but this is what I call a messy chart. And when I say messy chart, there's too many things going on at once, and it kind of clouds your judgment. And the whole point of being a naked trader is so you can just look at the charts naked without all of this. So, but overall, like I said, you feel free to incorporate one of these because, when I first started learning how to trade, I came across all of this, and the only one that I found valuable was the moving average. Some people may find the Bollinger Band, very, very helpful. People may not find the Bollinger Bands or the moving averages helpful, but they may find volume helpful, or they may find stochastic and RSI helpful, or the ADX, either or. I preferably would rather have everything off the charts and just me looking at the candlesticks clearly, just naked. And if I want to add something, I will add moving average. Or if I take the moving average off and I want to have, the ADX, then I can have the ADX right here, clear as day, bring it down some, and you can still see it and see how strong an actual trend really is. It all depends on what you want and what you prefer and how you would use this, like the ADX or the RSI, but they're different. The ADX basically tells you how strong a trend is. RSI and stochastic tells you if the market is being oversold or overbought. So when it gets closer to, that 50 range, that 40 to 50 range, it tells you, all right, it's in a trend right now, start buying it. This is where I see where it lags and it's not as useful because we see clear as day. This is a clear trend up and the market is at 10. Based off this, standard, it means the market is not trending right now and it's not that strong. When it's very strong and it's heading straight up. From here, it went up over, 300 pips, 400 pips. So it's like, this is why I don't use indicators so much. But like I said, some people find it helpful. I just use the moving average because the moving average is just very, very simple. All it really is whenever the blue is over the red, it's going up. Whenever red is over blue, it's going down. And the only lagging part is obviously, you see some things where it's like price is heading up. And even though it looks like it's consolidating because it's in the middle, blue is over the red, but you can't see it as clearly. You know what I mean? Or you may get in a little bit later because, the red crossed over the blue right here, but on a 15-minute, it may cross up over here. Like, it just depends. So, like I said, I'm just giving you guys a foundation to trade. Even right here, you see it clear as day as it's heading down. Moving average hasn't crossed over the red yet, but on a 15-minute time frame, it has. You know what I mean? So it just depends on what indicator you like. Maybe you don't like indicators and you just like it regularly naked and just looking at the charts just for what it is, and all you need is your key levels, your trend lines, and support and resistance. Like, feel free to go back to this daily time frame and just have, when you just have regular stuff like this, and you have a level right here, and you have a level right here, you have a trend line potentially right here to here. This is still considered naked trading because you're not using any indicators. You're just using the tools that's given to you. So feel free to use all this. Price can come down, retest this, come back up. Like, for me, preferably, I prefer to use blank clear charts and just add the moving average. But like I said, all I'm doing here is just to give you guys a foundation to kind of pick and choose what you guys like and kind of go from there. So I hope this video helped you guys out a lot. I will have a PDF attached to it that'll break down exactly what specific indicators do, and I hope it helps you guys. All right, we are here. All right, so clearly the first thing you want to do if you are a scalper, an intraday trader, or a swing trader, doesn't matter what you are, but this is the intraday strategy section. So the first thing you want to do, of course, is set your charts up. You got to set your charts up for success so your eyesight, can really see what the market is doing, what it's trying to tell you. Like the market tries to tell you a story. It's art. It's up to you and your knowledge of, what you've learned and your eyesight, your vision, like the eye test, to figure out, okay, is this going to be bullish or is it going to be bearish? And all of these tools over here on TradingView, kind of help you kind of understand what the market is trying to tell you. So I'm going to kind of break it down just a little bit, but this course is for you guys to kind of create your own strategy based on my strategies or based on strategies I've used in the past that didn't work for me, but they worked for a lot of other people, and strategies that didn't work for other people, but I've used it and it worked for me. You know what I mean? My goal is to give you guys a foundation to trade and give you guys all the knowledge that I know, and then hopefully you guys can kind of take stuff from me, take stuff from things that I tried to do in the past but it didn't work for me, and you guys grow to like it. You put it all together and you create your own strategy, because there's no surefire strategy out there that works. It only caters to that specific trader. Me in particular, like I said, I trade more naked and more intraday, a little bit of swing, but more intraday. I'm not a scalper at all. A lot of people are scalpers and they make money. They make good money scalping. I'm just not a scalper, but I know how to scalp, and that's why in my tier 2 section I have a whole section dedicated to scalping, because some people may find an interest in getting in for 15 minutes and then being done for the day. Me personally, it's a little too volatile, a little too fake outs and all of that stuff, so I try to stay away from scalping. But long story short, like I said, the goal is to give you guys a foundation to trade. So the first thing you guys want to do is set up your charts and use all of this, like all the stuff that I broke down in the original course that everybody automatically gets when they get the course in general. I think it's like the tier 0 course. I think it's like I'm not too sure how much it costs. I haven't even done the pricing yet, but it's the basic course really. So essentially you want to start from your knowledge of regular markets, like I did it in that tier 0 course, that original course. So the first thing you want to do is find support and resistance, find trend lines or just anything that can help you figure out why the market is bullish right now. For me, I usually will start off with a support, major resistance to get it on the chart. I like to trade as clean as possible, so you won't ever see me with a million things on my chart. And the things on my charts make sense to me may not make sense to other people, and vice versa. But I try to keep it as clean as possible. So right here, I would have a major support around this level, 125. And that comes with experience and me knowing why, I would have it at 125. I just know how Great Britain USD really works. And I want to label it as well. Like I said, I want to label it major support 125. So whenever it gets to this level, it is at that, it's at this number. And to make it exactly, perfect, go to coordinates and just write it right there at 1.25000. Okay, you're good. And for me, I like to draw, a thin box around it. You could draw it all the way over, but I'll try to keep it over here because we don't really need to see what's over there really. Even though you can clearly see clear as day price, consolidated around this level, stopped around this level, stopped around this level. So what you're going to do right here is draw a thin line around it. And it depends, like I said, it depends on other strategies. I'm going to show you guys others as well that you don't even have to do all this major support and resistance stuff. And then I'll have like another one right here at 127.500. You can see price stopping here at the top here and at the top here. And the reason I have it at 1.25, 1.27, these are the key levels and the psychological levels for GU. And I go more into the key level strategy in the tier 2 course, the series 2 course, which is it has its own section for key levels. But to kind of break it down really quick, I'll give you guys a little bit of insight. Key levels are places on a chart where the market stops over and over and over again due to, obviously the fundamental announcements that's going on in the world. And if you want to go back in time, let me just refresh this page. But if you go back in time, if I want to draw this over, you can see price stopped right here. Stopped a little bit above here, but similar if I drew like a thin box. Right here, right here, right here. And even over here, it stopped right here, stopped right here, stopped right here, whipped over here, stopped right here. I just didn't, well, I just did, but I just didn't want to go back and be like, all right, where is price stopping at? All right, cool. But like I said, this comes with experience and time. I just knew it stopped at 1.25 because I traded so oftenly. But to get you guys' key levels, just back up in time, setting your charts up, right? Go back in time, see where price stopped at, and kind of draw some levels around there. But keep it really simple. So now that I have my levels on here, I clearly see that price broke through the support,
retested it as resistance, came down here and stopped right here. So since it stopped right here and this was the low, I want to create a level right here. I'll delete it because price is way up here right now, so I don't need it. But more times than not, if price would have come up here and we were right here at this point in time, I would have this level right here as a barrier because this was the lowest point it went to before reversing the trend and heading all the way back up. So I can delete it now. I don't need it right now because price is up here. So I have price at 1.25, 1.27, 500. Let me draw 0, 0 right here, make it more accurate. You can obviously draw if you want to, you know, a thin box around this as well. You don't have to, but you can. So I have it right there and there. Let's just remove that. So now that I have my, you know, major support, I have a resistance, which is now support because price is way above it. Obviously my next move would be at 1.30. And like I said, I'll get more into the actual strategies later. This is like I said, the key level strategy basically, which is, you know, you trade more intraday swing where it's like, you know, basically where price is stopping. I've dragged this all over here. You see it stop here, stop here, stop there, stop there, stop there, stop there, stop there, stop there, and stop a little bit there. And this is all a little bit below. I always, you know, that's why I draw like a box around it. I will start from like, you know, right here and then just drag it over. So the reason we draw a box is because price never will stop at a specific number. It won't just regularly stop at 1.25. It may stop a little bit below, like you see a wick below, or a little bit, you know, above, which is why we keep, you know, boxes around it just in case as like a liquidity pool, meaning it could stop anywhere in between these lines and we'll still be okay. We have price going here. So at the end of the day, I'm going to look for a trend line. And obviously we can see clear as day that price is going up. I don't need this trend line here. Like I said, I try to keep my charts as clean as possible. But if you want to, if you need like stuff like this to, you know, help you see it more, because this is your first year of trading, second year of trading, then obviously, this is the second bounce. And obviously if GU retraces or goes to 130 and retraces, I'm expecting to come all the way down here to this 1.27500 level and test here. So how we would obviously trade this pair in general, just getting your chart set up in general. Like I said, I'll talk about the entry work in general. I mean, yeah, in my next section. But long story short, you want to get your chart set up, add support and resistance, add, you know, your key levels, which is the same thing. Look at the trend lines, look at the Japanese candlesticks. What is it telling you? Okay, doji, shooting star. Okay, boom, bounce like another doji, but a bounce on support, a little bit of consolidation, bullish engulfing, and now it's heading all the way back up. Like you got to understand the candlestick that it's telling you. But the way you become a great trader, you always have to start off by setting your charts up. Doesn't matter if you are a swing trader, intraday, or a scalper. Set your charts up for success. And let me obviously delete all of this right now. And you can obviously, like, if you wanted to, just do this in general. Like, okay, price stopped, you know, here. Price stopped, let me just lock it too. Price stopped right around here, like as lows. This was a high point, and this was a high point. So if you wanted to, like I said, it really depends on what works for you. Feel free to, all right, price stopped here. This is the new support, comes up, new support. So every time you trade it, this is the new like stop loss right below here. Goes up, boom. Now it goes up. This is the new stop loss right below here. Same with over here. Goes up, retest. This is the new stop loss. And you keep going back in time. And like I said, it depends if you want to keep it. You can like delete this as well and just look at your eye. Just keep it as clean as possible. I clearly see it's an uptrend. I see the moving averages are up. All right, let me just, you know, find the entry to get in and then buy it. You don't have to use one specific strategy. I'm trying to give you guys a foundation, but my strategy is the original one, if I can go back in time, which is this one right here. I have my major support. I have, you know, a line right here at the mid-level, and I have another major resistance, which is way over here, which should be dragged all the way over at 1.30. And then obviously I would label it just like I did here. So I hope that video helped you guys, but make sure when you start off, understand what type of trader you are and set your charts up, whether you're setting it up with nothing at all, because setting it up as nothing at all is still setting it up. You're setting your mind up to know, all right, I'm a naked trader. I don't need anything. Or set it up with, you know, minor, you know, drawings on it. Set it up with major drawings. Whatever works for you, just set your charts up and then move on to actually entering a trade.
Swag here. I just wanted to do this video for you guys really quick because a lot of you guys have asked me in my old academy, what exactly do you look for when price is at a major, level of support or resistance? So I want to do a better job at explaining it this time. So I'm on my GU chart, and I have these two levels of there. I mean, it's now resistance right here, but support when it was up here, resistance obviously whenever it's below it. I have these two key levels right here. Now, these are all minor levels. Don't take these as major levels. If I go back to the daily, obviously the major levels would be, somewhere at 130. I have it here as well. I kind of go back and forth with my strategies. I have, 2 to 3 different strategies, which I kind of explain within all the 4 series. In the 3rd series, I kind of break down, the key level strategy and a little bit of scalping as well. But in this one, I'm going to talk about intraday trading. So intraday obviously means, within that day or maybe the next day, but intraday you try to hold it at the longest 24 hours. At the longest, usual is like 2 to 5 hours. So when price is at a major key level like it is right here, right, or a minor key level just in general, I'm looking for a few things. I'm looking to see if price is going to reject it or if price is going to burst through it. And that it's really that simple. Like, I don't want to oversimplify it, but that's really all it is. When price gets here, is it coming full force as a shooting star? And is price, barreling through Maribozu? Or is price stopping abruptly? That's how you can see it. Is it stopping abruptly and then kind of reversing? Let's go to an hour chart. You can see clear as day. Wick, doji, 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 doji. Usually when you see dojis in succession like that, chances are price is not breaking through. We get this consolidation box, price breaks right above it. Boom, that's all I'm looking for. Now we're heading up in the up direction. Now, same with over here with this major key level. And people may ask how I got these minor key levels. I had this trend line right here from point A to point B, and there was no C. Obviously, if I, let me bar replay this really quick. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to go back. Let me this. Boom. So obviously it was like this. This is how I had it the first time. So usually when there's a trend line, uptrend, downtrend, whatever the points are at, I usually draw a line there, right? Cool. So obviously we click play, we bring it all the way to the front. Let me actually just exit all out. So price is here right now. So many people may make the mistake as in, making the trend line like this, but you completely disregard point B. So you got to stay in line with, how it originally is. So I draw my lines at this B point and A point, because usually if price breaks through a trend line, it most likely touches point B and point A. So when price gets to point A, what does it do? Wick, 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 wick. A big, kind of it's not even a hammer. It's like a big doji. Another wick, another wick. It wicked so many times, there was no way it was breaking this barrier. So all I'm looking for is a moving average crossover or some kind of confirmation that it's going to head down, like the shooting star or like, even an evening star. But chances are you won't see like an evening star in the middle of consolidation like a doji. You'll see at like the end of a trend. Like if price were going up and then I saw evening star, then obviously that's where you'll most likely see it. You won't see an evening star where it's like consolidation, bunch of dojis, evening star drop. No, you most likely see like a shooting star or a Maribozu confirmation, or price just starts getting smaller and smaller, which is what you saw right here. Price just started getting smaller and smaller. Moving average crossover, boom, enter. It goes all the way back down, all the way down to this original point. Obviously, it stopped a little bit before to this point, but it should get to at least right here. If not, then it'll go back up and we'll adjust from there. But that's all I'm looking for. Even back here, whenever we see price at major levels, I can see this level kind of lines up right here. Let me draw this box from over here. So clear as day, we see this. Boom. Price is at this level. Is price bursting through it or is it consolidating? That's what you got to understand, because if price was going to break through it, you can see clear as day with gold. When gold got to, this level, price started getting higher and higher in consolidation, broke through it. Then it gets to this 2,000 range where I usually have my levels at. I deleted it off, but I usually have my levels, every 50 with gold. And what does it do? Goes right through it. So you kind of can tell the same thing with GU, where it's like, if price was going to break through it, it would have no problem breaking through it. But instead, we get consolidation. Look at the patterns. Look at the candlesticks. If you see dojis over and over and over again, start reversing your bias. Start looking at it as, all right, price may have to, reverse and head back down. That's all you got to do. You shouldn't be looking at it as, all right, well, I'll wait to see what price does. No, look at your bias, start to formulate an opinion, and go from there. And now over here, we get a bunch of dojis. We get a bearish engulfing, a moving average crossover, entry, boom. Obviously on a 15-minute time frame, but entry goes all the way down. All I'm looking for is just the eye test. Is price breaking through, or is it just stopping? Over here, doji, 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 boom, shooting star, enter, feel me? Boom, heads up, small candle, boom. It's kind of a evening star. Like I told you, you see evening stars at the end of like a, pulling up, then an evening star. You won't see dojis, then an evening star. Over here, consolidation, shooting star, drop. All I'm looking for is I just want to see if price is breaking through or halting. If price is breaking through, you may get a quick halt, but it won't be anything insane. Like it won't be, I'm going to halt for 10 days and then push up. You know what I mean? It won't do that. But if price is consolidating there for so long, or the market has already made its move, like it's already made, 3 cycles down, and I'll talk more about that in series 4. But once you get to know it, you'll know how like the market cycles usually are. When you see how price has been going down for so long, and it's like right at a support, and now it's consolidating for a while, chances are it's not going any lower. It's just trying to get a few more buyers to push it all the way back up and grab the momentum. So I hope this video helped you guys. I'm trying to get you to understand there's nothing really extravagant about what you're doing when price is at a key level, but you just look at it, you wait to see any confirmation sign, and you get in. And you take your chances with, if your risk to reward ratio is good at a 1 to 3, 1 to 4, you can't beat yourself up over losses. Losses will happen, but wins won't happen unless you get some skin in the game and you go out there and try and execute and try and mastermind and perfect, your strategy over and over and over again. So like I said, I'm not looking at anything crazy. We get a bounce here, tweeze your bottom, push up. That's all I'm looking for. Price gets to this level, is it breaking through? Nope. A bullish engulfing, we're heading up. That's all I'm looking for. I'm keeping it very, very simple, and keep that in your repertoire. Keep it simple. All we're looking for is if price is going to retrace or break through it.
So let's talk about it. This entry work, let's get it in. You know what I'm saying? So we started off with setting our charts up, and this is where we left off as. The major support is here, another support is here that we haven't really, marked up because price is way up here now. So I'm going to show you guys, how exactly you should have entered this trade. And I want to get this academy out within the next 2 weeks. So in the next 2 weeks, you guys are going to see, a lot of good videos, a lot of dope videos, but I want to have, record a lot of my live trades. And it may be I wouldn't say a boring video, but it's just literally me just trading live, like my real-time senses, my real-time environment. I want to have a whole section dedicated to that. But right now, I'm just trying to get as many dope videos out to you guys as I can as possible. Just like I told you guys about, the Netflix stuff. This is season 2 of Secure the Swag. So I want to make sure you guys are studying this. And then hopefully, shortly, a week or 2 after that, I can just upload my live trading in here. It won't be no edits, won't be no intro and outro, just be me purely live trading as well. But right now, so entry work. So the reason why I put such an emphasis on the psychology section and why it is the most important section in my academy, and people just, want to skip over it potentially and just go right to the technical analysis stuff, is because the reason you're losing money is because of your psychology. It's not because you don't know what technical analysis is. Like at this point, I'm pretty sure I can ask everybody what support and resistance is and what a trend line is and what a moving average is, and they can really regurgitate it, or they can say it at the top of their mind and really in definition. And that's not where we want you guys to be. We don't want you guys to just be able to read something or hear something, watch something, and then quote it from a definition, but not be able to accurately utilize it and efficiently execute it on a chart. And the reason you guys aren't efficiently executing it is because of your psychology. You guys are scared. You guys are hesitating. You're second guessing yourself. You lose one trade and you're not confident in the second one. And you have to have such an unwavering confidence about you with this trading stuff. And you have to stay disciplined, because if you don't keep your risk management, which is why I started the whole section off of risk management, it's the most important thing, just like psychology. If you don't keep your risk management in check, it's easy to blow an account because you're risking too much. So in order to be confident, look at this. The trend line started here, right? It pulled all the way up, right? I see several entries. Pulled all the way up, came down and retested this moving average. Now, since we kind of already know it's an uptrend just from this alone, like we knew this was the low and this was a higher low. Obviously, this is why you want to mark your charts up as much as you can. Low, higher low, you know what I mean? Mark it up as much as you can so you can have an idea. Let me actually make this smaller. Here we go. There we go. So you have an idea. So we kind of already know that this is already a higher low. We get a bullish engulfing. That's two confirmations that price is heading up. We have this counter trend line right here. And a counter trend line is basically a trend line that goes against the actual overall trend. I'm trying to connect these two and not so much far back, but it's more so these two. This didn't really go above it, stayed right here, stopped here, came back down. So once we break this counter trend line with this bullish engulfing, it comes up, it retests this. It's support now because it's way up here, but this resistance, 1, 2, 3 hits, and then it finally breaks through. And mind you, this is a daily time frame. Head down to the 4-hour and 2-hour. You know, I got kind of caught up with myself because obviously I'm an intraday / swing trader, so I look at the daily and the 4-hour. But for intraday trading in particular, you want to scale down so you can get these, precise entries. You see price. First of all, let's go over here. So you see price make a higher low right here, and it broke through the counter trend line. Not only did it break through the counter trend line, it broke through and retested this moving average. I just made a YouTube video about this as well. It was, I think, the Gold Makes History video that I just released yesterday. I said it then. I said, a trick that you guys can know, whenever price bounces off the moving average, that should be a clear-cut sign to enter. Because price will never just bounce off a moving average and then that's it. Chances are, if it bounced off a moving average, it bounced off the moving average and formed, a pattern, whether it's a bullish pattern or a bearish pattern in the direction of the trend. It broke through some kind of resistance, support, or counter trend line, or the actual trend. You know what I mean? So when you see price bouncing off of a moving average, it is very, very, very sacred in this, in this world. You see over here, there's no bounce off of a moving average. It's going right through it, and the moving average is trading in between it, which shows that it's consolidation. Whenever you see price clearly just bounce off of it, like over here, you see price go down, it came up, it bounced off of it, boom. What is this? Bearish engulfing. Regular candlestick, bearish engulfing. What did it do? It dropped down 124.5 to, that is about 120 pips. It dropped down. So be mindful when price bounces off a moving average. So it bounced the moving average, gave us a tweezer bottom, boom, your entry can be right here. On the aggressive side, I'm gonna show you guys an aggressive and more passive way to enter. On the aggressive side, your entry is amidst of the close of this tweezer bottom right here. What am I trying to look for? This line, yeah, this, thank you. Amidst of this close, let me make this bigger too. So you got to understand, the reason why I say miss this close is because price can go down and come up, and then before that 2-hour candlestick closes, it can still close down here, which shows that it's not enough, momentum, and it'll head back down. The fact that it bounced off of the moving average with a tweezer bottom, the aggressive side would be to enter here in a long position, and this is where the entry work, the sniper entries comes in. Aggressive, stop loss right below there, and your take profit, several take profits. Your first take profit is clearly to this key level, 1-to-4 risk to reward ratio. Clearly, that's the first one. Once you start to take partial profit, or if you enter again Well, I'll get to entering it again on another video called Scaling In. Let's just talk about the entry work just in general. Once you enter right here, excuse me, I talk about it all the time when moving your stop loss into take profit. Now, you only do that when the market creates actual structure. What I mean by actual structure is in an uptrend, if you see a higher low, higher high, higher low, your stop loss goes below the last higher low. If you see in a downtrend, you know, lower highs and lower lows, then your stop loss goes above the last lower high. So over here, our entry was here, right? A misses, closes, tweezers, bottom. Aggressive, a little aggressive, right? But it's not so much aggressive. We have several confirmations. We broke a counter trend line, had a huge bullish engulfing. Number 2, 3, the moving averages crossed back over at the red over the blue, then cross over blue over the red. 4, we have this, bounce off of the moving average. 5, we got a tweezer bottom. There's so many confluences why we got in. It's not so much aggressive, but it's still a little aggressive. So right now, we enter straight in. A little bit of negative right here with this wick, a little bit of negative, straight in. It goes right to this major resistance, which obviously turned into support later on, but this major resistance. And then what did it do? It came back down, and then it slowly starts to trade back up. The minute you see price make a new higher low, this stop loss, it won't let me do it here, but in MetaTrader it will. You move this stop loss into break even and actually into profit. This is now the next higher low. So now your stop loss, instead of losing 200, 300, 500, 1,000, 150, whatever your stop loss is, you are now guaranteed to at least make some money. So if price were to come down and hit this level, get the brush tool, and hit this level right here and stop you out, you at least got stopped out in profit as opposed to negative. But guess what? You cannot do that if price is not creating structure. You can't just get in the trade the minute you see profit, move your stop loss to the profit. It won't work. It has to come down and create a higher low, or go up and create a lower high in a downtrend before you can able to move your stop loss. So now we're able to move our stop loss, and now we're able to let this trade roll freely and add it again to the next level, which is 127,500, all the way up here. We drag it all the way over, and guess where our stop loss is? Still right here. Now you have several different ways to, move around with it. You can obviously move, from here. You can move it over here. New stop loss, obviously drag it all the way over. It still has not been hit. And then obviously another stop loss. Again, move it here. It's finally been hit when it came back down over here. And you can find some ways to kind of, really avoid that as well. You can obviously take this rectangle, move it all the way over, way up here, where it's like, all right, I see one hit to the resistance, another hit to the resistance, another hit to the resistance. That's 3, I wouldn't say a triple top, but it's 3 different ways as to where prices, boom, boom, boom. Clearly couldn't break up. You can easily take your money. It's obviously a bearish engulfing right now, and a red moving average cross with a blue. You can easily take your money and obviously get out, or you could let it play through since it's a risk-free trade and not really worry about it too much. And then obviously it drags all the way down and hits this level. So those 2 things you want to do, obviously, as well for your entry work as well. I'll talk about scaling in a whole nother video. We won't worry about that too much right now, but we're just worrying about actually entering for the very first time on a trade. You want to make sure you are as, precise as possible, and that's the more aggressive side. Let me get you in on the more, I want to delete that, on the more passive side. So more passive would be to obviously wait for it to clear this, resistance, which is now support. Wait for it to obviously clear it. Once it's cleared it, then it's a matter of, all right, let me get in and watch what it does. And your stop loss, this is the last low. So stop loss right below there. So right here, stop loss. Entry could have been right here. And obviously you got way into profit, comes down, it gets negative again, but then obviously slowly have to go up to this 1.27 level and the 130 level, which is long term. But overall, we want to be as, non-aggressive as, it depends on the type of trader you are, which is why I said when you're setting up your chart, figure out what type of trader you are, whether you're an intraday, a swing trader, or a scalper. Depends on what type of trader you are. Once you figure that out, then you kind of figure out if you're an aggressive trader or a passive trader. You can't trade in the market without knowing exactly what type of trader you are, because you're just going to do a bunch of things around the world. You do a bunch of nonsense, do all this crazy stuff where it's like, all right, cool. Sometimes I'm aggressive, sometimes I'm passive. You can't be that way. You have to figure out what strategy works for you and then kind of go from there. You know what I mean? Right here, we have a major support as well. Like I said, just make sure you understand what type of trader you are. Figure that out. Once you figure that out, everything kind of, makes more sense. You can be aggressive, you can be passive. Or if you're a swing trader, you can do that consistently. You can't go back and forth. You can't go from, being real physical with the market, basically aggressive. You can't go from, real swinging to real intraday to real scalping. You can't go with those three different ways and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, because if you do that, then obviously you're not being consistent. You're not focusing and honing in on a strategy. You can master a strategy. Me, I'm an intraday swing trader, but I didn't start off as a swing trader. I started off with being the best intraday trader I can possibly be. And once I did that, then it was like, all right, I can hold these trades a lot longer and be more of a swing trader. You know what I mean? I can kind of do both, but you can't start out the gate doing both, because they say the person that chases 2 rabbits catches none. Catch 1 rabbit first, and then if you want to, then feel free to learn how to scalp or learn how to trade more and hold it long term and be more of a swing trader. But right now, let's just knock your strategy out, have the foundation, figure out what type of trader you are, create a trading plan. I have all the trading plans in the Tier 2 course as well, but create your own trading plan, create your strategy based on what I'm teaching you, and figure it out. That entry work is very, very, very serious. You want to make sure you have the best entry possible. And here's another thing. I talk about this in the risk management section as well. If you lose a trade, it's okay. You know what I mean? You're not going to win every trade. You're going to keep losing. You're going to lose some trades, here and there. But it won't affect you if you're so disciplined and your risk management is on par. You guys are so eager to chase money, and you see me making so much money. I wasn't making that my first year, my second year, and even my third year. You know what I mean? I was making a little bit, but I wasn't making tens of thousands, the 6 figures and 5 figures. I wasn't making none of that in my first 2 and 3 years. It takes some time to master a craft. You know what I mean? So what you guys got to understand is keep your risk management great. Whatever works for you. What works for me is 1 to 3 and up. I don't trade anything that's less than a 1 to 3 risk to reward management. You know what I mean? I don't trade that at all. So obviously, if I'm trading what I had earlier on my 2-hour time frame, and it was a matter of let's say long position. I think I got in right here, or the other one. My stop loss was right there, and my take profit was way up here, 127, 1 to 7 risk to reward. The one from here to here was 1 to 4 we did earlier, and way up here, 1 to 14. You know what I mean? You want to have the highest risk to reward ratio possible, because it means I have to lose 7 trades in a row and win 1, and I'm still in profit. Or I got to lose 5 trades in a row, and all I got to do is win 1, and I'm still in profit. You know what I mean? So you want to make sure that your risk to reward ratio is always great, because if you do a 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio, at the end of the day, you can lose 10 trades and win 1. You're a negative trader. We want to have percentage growth. We want to have consistency, and all in all, we want to have profit in the market. So I'm getting a little long in this entry 1 video. I want to kind of break it up, so I'll do an entry 2 video as well. But I want you guys to kind of figure out exactly what I'm saying. You know what I mean? So it can kind of, you guys can kind of relish in it and understand it and incorporate it in your brain. Risk management, discipline, and focus on your entries, and keep your stop loss, where structure is. Don't try to keep it as tight as possible. Make sure you keep it, due to what structure is saying. If you try to keep it as tight as possible, but it's not going with structure, you're going to lose every single time. Keep it with structure. Put it below the last higher low in an uptrend, or above the last lower high in a downtrend, and you'll find yourself more profitable than not.
Talk about it. Our entry work part 2. I wanted to split this video up into 2 videos. Y'all see me looking at the lyrics to Chris Brown. This song is fire. But irrelevant. Right now, we are talking about entry work. So right now, I want you guys to look at, entries as a segue to being a great trader, because obviously you need the psychology, you need the risk management. But with entries, you don't become a profitable trader if you are not, specific and methodical with your entries. I say this all the time. Anybody can accurately predict where the market is going to go. It's just a matter of timing, and that timing comes down to entries. Now, I have one of my favorite pairs here, GU, here just in general. I want to give you guys an example on what the daily, the 4 hour, and all those time frames are usually for. And mind you, remember, we're talking about intraday trading, meaning we get in, we get out the same day. Understand that the daily time frame is not to be looked at to be traded on. For example, we're not looking at, okay, it went up right here, so way up here, all right, it's still in the uptrend. Or, let's say, for instance, screw all of this, it dropped right here, so we way over here right now, and it's going to keep dropping. No, we don't look at the daily for that, because it's going to take too long. You guys are intraday traders. But the daily can be a great tool to help us get better entries. And let me elaborate on that. So, if you are looking to enter a pair, or let me take that a step further, if you haven't entered a pair yet and you're looking to see what the market wants to do and like the bias for the pair, start off on the daily for sure, right? And when I talked about my last video, like I talked about, analyzing and really breaking it down in the 4 hour and below, but the daily leaves clues in terms of what it's going to do going forward. You see right here where you get this, some type of right here, you get a tweezer top right here, right? You get it right here, and it matches a little bit lower, but it matches the similar resistance of the previous tweezer top it did. So let's just draw this, this key level over here, right? This resistance. And now we have one tweezer top drops. One tweezer tops drops. Now understand, once you see this red candle and this tweezer top on the daily on May 1st, this was on a Friday, right? So this was on a Friday. So on Monday, when it opens back up, you should be looking at the 4 hour and the 1 hour to see, all right, what is the market going to do? Where can I find my entry to go down? Because once you see it on the daily, all you got to do is get onto the 1 hour and the 4 hour, and you can see clear as day. Boom, drop, slowly decline. Moving average crossover, a little bit of a spike, boom, drop. Your entry could have been any one of these. Preferably, let's go back to the daily really quick. All right, so we see we need this whole candle to drop first. So we're going to draw a nice little line right here so we can at least see where it stopped at in terms of like finishing the candle. We go back down to the 1 hour time frame, head all the way back over. So you can see right here, and this is so clear as day, which I'm glad. So your entry easily could have been any one of these. So look at this. This was where the tweezer top closed at on Friday. On Sunday, when the market opened, what did it do? It came down, retested this area, which was where the tweezer top was, right? Retested this area. Once you get the retest of this area, you easily could have gotten in, and I'm going to be very transparent with you guys, once the moving average crossover. So it's not just this candlestick right here where you see like, okay, and this is where you got to put all the tools together. Remember what I told you? If the moving average is in the middle of candlesticks, it is still consolidating. So no matter if we got this retest and drop back down, it would affect a lot of people out. The moving average is still in the middle. Red isn't over the blue yet. So that's not enough confirmation. This is where you got to exude patience. Over here, this is a retest, still nothing. We need a moving average crossover, and you can slowly see how it's crossing over in between. Your entry could have been any one of these. Because you already got the retest. So understand this. Once you got the retest, you got 1, 2, 3, about 3 retests already, and then you got a moving average crossover afterwards. More times than not, the candlestick that you are entering on or anything going forward will not come back and retest it again. Doesn't need to retest. It retested it 3 times already, and the moving average crossed over. If the moving average didn't cross over, it can retest as many times as it wants. The fact that it retested 1, 2, or about 3 times, and then the moving average crossover, you know for a fact, all right, it's going down. Just a matter of me placing my stop loss. That is more of the key. The entry is a little bit easier. You could easily enter on this. Let's just say we entered somewhere around here. Let's just say we entered on this one right here. Stop loss could either be right above here or right above here. Preferably, we want our stop loss a little bit higher. But if you want to get sniper-like entries, you could have did a stop loss right above this little lower high. But the more conservative approach would be above here. I'm not going to tell you guys exactly what you should do. I personally would probably have put my stop loss right above here, and once it dropped a little bit lower, then move my stop loss to like right here, and then when it drops some more, move my stop loss to right above here, over here. You know what I mean? But initially, I probably would have had it right here just to give myself some more breathing room, because even though it wouldn't have retested, excuse me, it could have easily, just like it did this wick right here, wicked out, stopped you out, and then dropped. So more times than not, the correct way of trading is to place your stop loss above the original last, lower high in a downtrend. So we have our stop loss right above there. Now, take profit wise, we got to look at some kind of key levels. When I say key levels, I mean in terms of just support and resistance in general. So we go back to the past. We see price stopped right here before heading all the way back up. We see price stopped right here before heading all the way back up. And we see price stopped right here before heading all the way back up. And this 122 comes in at around 123 flat. This comes in around 122,500. And this comes in around 124. If we draw obviously a rectangular box around this, it's in that range. I can delete that right now. So in order to actually and actively trade, we would have dragged it down, and I wouldn't have had it right here because I feel like if you go back on the daily, this is where we got to be smart and use your eye test. If you go back on the daily, we see a tweezer top on a daily time frame. Chances are it's not going to just go right here and then go back up. Not at all. After we see this big candlestick formation, I'll get more into this in the actual candlestick patterns and formations, just in general. I think it's in another section in here. So chances are it's going to go a lot further than that. So this is where you use your prediction, and you predict that it's going to go a lot further than what it shows. What it shows right here is, in the past, GU, while it was on the uptrend, it started right here, stopped right here, and then it got right here in reverse. All four of these are key levels in terms of where price will stop at, where you should place your take profits at, where price will stop at again in the future. So since it's so close, I would have put my take profit to this one originally, had this as my first take profit, this is my second one, and honestly I would have had right here, the stoppage right here, this is my third one. Until price gives me a reason not to get out. You know what I mean? And if price would have dropped below here and even closed, then my take profit would have probably been, I see price stopped right here before heading back down, somewhere right here. Now I use these, these little levels, these little mini levels on top of my actual key levels. The key levels I have it off like the eye test and have it in general with what I usually see from my eyes in general. I don't draw too many specific key levels on here because, like I said, with naked trading and with the eye test, I already know it by heart. So delete this, have that off. Now, obviously, we see already in time price went way down here, but we gotta act like we don't know that due to us being traders right now. So originally, my full take profit would have been this level right here. Price comes down, we get a doji, we get a morning star, it heads back up. This is not a scenario where we're like, all right, we're just gonna take partial profit and get out. You can take partial profit when price is dropping and making lower highs and stuff, but once it got to your overall level, you potentially get out and reassess yourself. So after the trade is done, price, what does it do? Immediately creates a morning star, heads all the way back up. This little ellipse tool. Cool. Back to the daily. Right back over here. So you see clear as day. Price came down, placed the doji on the daily time frame, slowly headed back up to retest this 124 level, which is why it's imperative to keep these levels on here, because this is the original level we had. Now you see something profound, which would have told us that it was heading down some more. This level did not actually physically retest. It still was shorter than the others. So let me go back to the 1 hour time frame. So if you look at this level where we had the actual, retest 1, 2, 3, because remember, this was where it closed out on Friday, open on Sunday, retest, 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 crossover, moving average down. When it came up to retest, what did it do? It did not retest accurately. On top of that, I see an actual counter trend line from here to here. Now, with the counter trend line, I will get more into that in series 2, but obviously what counter trend lines is, it's just a actual trend line that goes against the overall trend. So what that means is we have a counter trend line in place, and this is what I mean by, the more you're into my series 1, series 2, series 3, use your resources and put it all together, have some experience, some time, the more it all comes together and it makes sense. You got to use all your tools. Trading is not just some 2-step process or 3-step process. You got to use every part of your brain and your knowledge to really, put it all together. So we have price. We know price right here does not retest this actual major resistance. It comes down, comes up, creates what? A lower high, starts placing dojis. Lower high right there, lower high right here. And now we get this dump off right here. Come up, comes down. This is a 1 hour time frame. Let's go on to the 15-minute time frame, even farther down. Let's really get our sniper entries working. And we go right here, and we can see the moving average crossover clear as day. This doji right here, shooting star, comes down, confirmation. Now, the moving average crossover a little bit before that, but it was, consolidating right here. So obviously I would have waited for the break of consolidation and it closed. It closed right here. Your entry is right there. Amidst of this close. Stop loss right above this high. And now your take profit, we can obviously go down again. We can scale back in time. That was the 15-minute time. Let's go to the 1 hour now. Back to over here. Just past it. Right here. Cool. So, as for take profit, remember, this was our original first take profit. This one right here. So be smart about it. Remember I drew this white line over here where it stopped at? What did price do? Price came down on our first take profit and stopped right here. So feel free to adjust. Okay, it didn't stop here this time. It stopped a little bit lower. Adjust. Let me do that. Let me do a horizontal array. Adjust. Boom. Take profit right there. 1 to 3 risk to reward ratio. And then if price were to, hit this and come back down, hit this and come back, keep going down, then you can either take, re-enter, scale in, do what you got to do. But this is our first take profit, our overall take profit, excuse me. So price comes down and it never really gives you a lower high to really move your stop loss into profit in. So you really can't, you may got to keep your stop loss way up here. If you're an actual trader, you may have gotten stopped out right here because when price is going down and made just a little bit of a lower high right here, you could have put your, your stop loss in profit, and price that came up stopped you out somewhere in between. Here's 2 things you can do to counter effect that. If you get stopped out in profit, but you see the trend is still continuing, feel free to re-enter. So I see that if you put your stop loss right here into profit 2 ways, you could have easily left it as it is because it wasn't really no clear-cut signal. But if this is a clear-cut signal, then you put your stop loss right here. Obviously, keep the strategies going because over time, the discipline will make you a great trader. And then obviously, it goes up, takes you out, boom, doji, kind of a doji, not really, but a little bit of a doji, a little bit of a fake evening star, comes down, moving average crossover, and then we are down and off to the races. So obviously in the long term, we keep it going, keep it going. Obviously, let's just do another entry. Entry would have been obviously evening star, confirmation, entry right there, stop loss right above here, and you take profit again, since it obviously closed below there, we are looking for obviously a 1 to 3 risk to reward ratio. If I see it's 1 to 5, 1 to 1, 1 to 2, I won't enter. Let's see if this is 1 to 3. This just crossed 1 to 3. So I would have entered the trade. Trade goes into profit, trade comes back up, and then trade comes back down. And mind you, once it comes back up, creates this lower high, what do? Move your stop loss into break even. And this is still a little bit negative. So your stop loss isn't actually in profit right now because this lower high still is in drawdown a little bit. So now at least you are potentially will lose 5 pips, in your trade instead of 20 pips or 30 pips. So Price heads all the way down, heads right to that take profit level, which is synonymous with all the way over here. Boom, boom, boom. And then price goes up, creates a lower high again, moving average crossover again. And the process continues where it's like, all right, I'm out this trade. I could potentially enter this trade. So let me start, Xing some of these things out, And I see a actual Fibonacci entry that I could have entered right here. And I'll probably do that in one of my next videos as well, where it's a Fibonacci entry as well. Keep working on your entries. Like I said, feel free to scale in. Keeps us a few rules into effect. Let me actually refresh this page and go all the way over really quick. Keep these rules into effect. I actually have a PDF you probably can download on the side, but I want to keep these rules that you guys have already in your mind. It is, don't be afraid to enter. Don't second guess yourself. Stop, Velvet. Don't be afraid to enter. Don't second guess yourself. If you see a lower high being placed in a downtrend or a higher low being placed in an uptrend, move your stop loss into take profit, obviously after you see a lower high or a higher low. Now, if you get stopped out, feel free to re-enter upon seeing price continue in your original direction. Like I said, I'll have all this in like a PDF you guys can download, but I want to make sure you guys understand that work on your entries. That is not the only way. You mix your entry work with your psychology. You stay disciplined, keep your risk management on 1,000. You will be amazed at where you are and how profitable you are. So I hope this entry work video 2 helped you guys a lot, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Originally, like I told you guys in my last entry work part 2 video, this is entry work part 3. Look at the daily to see where it was going to go. So I started off with the tweezer tops over here. Now look over here. Boom. Pushes up. Doji. Shooting star. Now you should obviously, the minute the shooting star closes, you obviously should head down there, see what goes on with it. And obviously, trade, and it's going down based off that alone. Now over here, this is where price gets really interesting. What do you see right here? It's a Friday. So price is not moving right now, but you get a doji right here. What does that tell me? That tells me price, low-key ran its course a little bit. You can see over here how that kind of goes in play with this one right here, this one right here. So the past few times it came to this 131,700 level, 13200 flat level, it just crashed back down. I get to this level and price creates a doji. This is telling me that if we were to scale down, bearish engulfing, that we should be awaiting, and we got to move an average crossover, even though it's Friday. We got to see what the market wants to do on Sunday. My my bias for this pair, GU, is bearish right now due to what I just saw on the daily time frame. Now I'm scaling down. Since it closed on Friday, I do expect the market to retrace a little bit, maybe hit this level a few times and then drop. But I do, unless I get an actual close above here, that daily told me a lot. And I do see potentially right here, either retesting or going just a little bit lower and then start creating the actual downtrend with obviously take profits starting right here, and then obviously the original line between here and here. Move this up a little bit. So obviously delete those as well. But that is how you use, like I said, this one's gonna be a little bit shorter because I just wanted to elaborate a little bit more. That is how you use the daily and seeing the actual candlestick patterns on the daily to kind of predict what the market is gonna do the next upcoming week or the next few upcoming weeks. You know what I mean? You come over here, you get, what do you get? You get consolidation, price breaks out, retest, and then pushes all the way up. It broke out on the daily and retested on the daily and continued on the daily. So that means you should have scaled all the way down to the 1 hour and found entries relating to over here to bring you all the way back up. Why? Because we started on the daily to see what did the candlestick pattern tell me? Like, what is it doing like last? What did it do? You know what I mean? Like, that's all you really have to look at when it comes to, most things here. We get a higher low here. We get a bearish engulfing here. Price heads up. Like, you can really much use this for pretty much the majority of pairs you have, where it's like you look at the daily and see what happens. You get a doji, and then you get a hammer, aka a bullish engulfing as well. What happens? Price heads all the way back up. So just use the daily just to see what it did, recently. And then the most recent candlestick pattern, the most obviously noticeable one, kind of use that to kind of guide your direction on where you're going to be trading and the bias you should be leaning towards based on what you just saw. So I just wanted to give that, quick little extra note after the first 2 entry work videos. And I'll see you guys soon. Not break tests, breakouts and retest entries, so you guys know exactly where to get in when you see price consolidating and when it's about to break out, what you should do. So I have one here. I think I saw it in my last video of entry work part 3, where right here you can see a clear consolidation. So obviously everybody knows what consolidation is. Consolidation is when prices all jumbled up together and there's no overall trend. There's no uptrend, there's no downtrend. Prices going sideways over and over again. Nothing is going on in the market. So when you see a breakout and a retest, this is what you should be looking for. And I take away that retest. You should be looking for a retest. So when price is consolidating like this, you look for a breakout, whether it's below or above. Now, people may tell you, okay, what you should do is, place a buy stop right here and a sell stop right here, and wherever it hits, take the other one out. That's not how to accurately trade. You're going to get stopped out. Price is going to wick you out right here, get you in for a sell, and then go all the way back up, wick you in right here, and then draw right back into consolidation. Then you just lost both trades. Now you got to cancel both of them out. Don't do that at all. Wait for confirmation on what price wants to do. We already know that price is already in the uptrend based on this bullish engulfing right here on the daily. Remember I told you in the entry work video, look to see what the daily does and then follow trend. So daily bullish engulfing, continuation, moving average crossover, it's just up. Now it's a matter of it just consolidating, taking a breather. And I'll elaborate more in the market cycles, in series 3. But we get consolidation right here. Price, boom, hammer, breaks out, retest. That is exactly what you should be looking for before you enter. When price is consolidating, look for a breakout and a close below, not a wick. You got to wait for that. Wait for this entire candlestick to close. So don't get caught up in price coming down, but then it only closes right here. Because then the next, obviously, you got in for a sell and price closed way up here, and now you're negative and draw down, and then went all the way up here. So right now, price did this, close above. We can head down to the 2-hour candlestick. We can see clear as day. Price broke up, got to this high point, and then came down to retest. Whatever high point the price makes, that is your barrier for entry next time. Meaning, price came up here and it's coming down to retest. We don't enter unless price is going up right here. Unless price crosses this barrier again, we don't enter at all. Because we need to wait for price to break out at the high point, come back down to retest, and then continue to cross that high point. Because price is not going to cross this high point and then dip back below and fake everybody else out. No, it's not going to do that. So, price came up here, came down, retested. You don't enter right here. You could if you want to be aggressive, but I wouldn't. We got to, preserve our capital. Drag it over. Price comes here, finally touches it, and you can enter here, obviously, or you can wait for an actual close above, which we got right here. Either or would have been perfectly fine. Preferably the close above, only because price can easily do what it did just that and retest and then drop down. It can't close above, like I just said a minute ago. It can't close above and then drop back down. But the wick, just like I said down here with the whole, closing below, it can wick and then come back down. Wait for a close above. We get a close above. We look for a long position amidst this close. Stop loss right there. You take profit. For me in particular, my first key level is 1.30. That's the closest key level near me. I don't have it marked on, but I just know it by heart. 1.30 is the closest key level near me. You can see price clears day stopping there. So my first take profit would be looking to aim for 1.30. Unfortunately, this is a 1 to 2.7 risk to reward ratio, so I probably wouldn't take this trade. Only because I only look for 1 to 3 and 1 to 4 risk to reward ratio, and that's a perfect example of sticking to your guns. No matter if I believe it's going to go up or not, you know, there may be some times where I like, you know, I stay disciplined 90% of the times. So sometimes, you know, I may not stick to the plan, which is, you know, bad advice, and you guys should always stick to the plan in general. You know what I mean? But most of the time I try to stick with 1 to 3 and 1 to 4 risk to reward ratio. You know what I mean? Most of the time. So if I rewind back in time, you can see clear as day. Obviously, it would have been a good trade. Close above, never in drawdown. Stop loss right here. Heads all the way up here. And if you drag it over, it'll head all the way over here. My idea is that, you know, I try to trade 1 to 3 and 1 to 4 risk to reward ratio because no matter if I lose 3 or 4 trades, all I gotta do is 1 to 1 and I'm way in profit. 1 to 2 can work too. I draw the line at 1 to 1. Like, I don't trade 1 to 1 and even 1 to 2s. But I can see, if somebody told me they're you know, risk to reward ratio is 1 to 2, great. You know, cool. 1 to 1, that is just like, damn, like you really got to make sure you are way on point. You know what I mean? So this is a 1 to 2.7 risk to reward ratio, almost 1 to 3. A lot of people would have taken a trade, which they should have, because this is a breakout, retest, continuation. Simple. Very, very simple. And that is how you should look for all your trades. Remove this. Let's go back in time. Let's just see if we can find, you know, some more consolidation so I can show you guys, you know, exactly what really could go on. I see consolidation right here. You see it right here. You can easily just go back in time. And I mean, in time, I mean like go down to the 1 hour time frame. Look to see if there's a retest, continuation. So all you gotta do, keep going down, just spot areas of consolidation. Every time you see consolidation, draw a box around it and then scale down to like a 15-minute or a 1 hour time frame to see, all right, where is it breaking? Where is the retest? Where can I enter? Consolidation. How do you know this is consolidation? What is it doing? It's going down, up, down, up, down, up. There's no trend until it gets above. Once it gets above, what's the first thing it does? Consolidation, breaks above, comes down, retest. This was the high point. Let me delete this. This was the high point. And this is a daily time frame. I would usually do this on a 15-minute or an hour. I'm just trying to give you guys an example, you know, of how you should look at it overall. Breakout or consolidation, breakout, high point, retest, comes up, takes it out. Your entry is right there, long position right there. And obviously you look back to see where your key levels are at. And obviously, you know, anything remotely close, stop loss right over here. And obviously you can go back in time to see where price would stop at. It's insane. Right here, their price stopped at for 1. Price stopped at here as well. I know I have a key level at 137,500 and 140 flat just off my key levels alone. I don't know why I went so far back in time. Where was it at? Right here. Okay, cool. Right? Oh, right here. Oh, okay, cool. So yeah, so this would be my first one based on what I saw in the past, where it stopped at 1 to 4.3 risk to reward ratio. Second one, 1 to 7.37 risk to reward ratio. And obviously this lines up with my 1.40 overall key level just off knowing my levels in general, which I talk extensively in series 3. 137,500, which you can obviously see, price stopped right here. This is my mid level. I do trade the quarters theory a little bit, but I also, you know, put my own, you know, effect and kick into it, which you will see when I talk about the key levels and get into that section in the next series. But obviously it gets right here, here, and here. This is where you got to be. Your trading plan comes into place on where you're going to place your take profits. My take profits are always a key level, a Fibonacci extension, or a previous level that price stopped at in the past. And you can see clear as day, these have 2 out of the 3 except the Fibonacci extension, because there's no Fibonacci to really use here. So I hope this breakout video helped you guys out a lot. My dog wants to go pee right now. He's waiting by the door, so I'm just gonna go help him out right now. But when you see breakouts, I'm gonna come in a second, Velvet. When you see consolidation, look for a breakout. When you see a breakout, hold your guns. Do not enter the trade. Hold it. Be patient because it can easily fake you out. Wait for a close, wait for it to retest, and then enter off that high point that price was at. And then boom, once it reaches there again, and then boom, you'll be good, and you will have a great entry and be in a great trade. And hang on, my dog really has to go pee. I'm gonna bring him outside while I still talk to you guys. So I want to end the video off right. Come on, Velvet. Ugh. Look at him running right to the door to go pee. Good boy, Velvet. Go. Yeah, so, oh my gosh. So, long story short, when you see consolidation, wait for the breakout, wait for a close above or below, wait for that retest, and then enter once it gets near that level again. Once you do that, you'll be fine, you'll be great, you'll have a great trade, you'll be disciplined, and even if that trade comes back to be a loser, you know, we're practicing discipline, we're practicing the strategies over and over and over and over again. Because over time, we'll be a great trader, we'll be an efficient trader, we'll be a consistent trader, and we'll be, most importantly, a disciplined trader. And a disciplined trader is a profitable trader. So I will see you guys in the next video, and I hope this video give you guys some insight to how to enter on actual breakouts. So I want to talk to you about, exit strategies. We talked a lot about, entry work and setting up your charts. And, I want to talk about, getting out the trade. I'll explain more in terms of like partial profits and exact points, later on in the series, in series 3 and 4. But right now I just want to give you, 3 key points on where your take profit should be. It should either be at a key level, like, like a major support or resistance, a minor level, which I consider, previous points where price wicked at in the past. You see over here how price wicked here, wicked down here, wicked over here, over here, wicked right here. Like usually where price wicks at, it leaves clues on where it will do in the future. And lastly, a Fibonacci price point, 27 extension or 61.8. So I'll write that on at the end of the video. Actually, I'm gonna write it right now just so you guys can get a clear understanding. Let me clear this really quick. All right, here. So TPs, support / resistance, key levels, practice over, Fibonacci extension, 27 or 61.8, it's actually negative, excuse me guys, and previously wicked area. So, technical analysis, 2.0, back to the chart. So, just in general, when you're trying to take profit in something, look over here. So initially, if price is down here, I'm trying to give you guys some examples. If price is down here and I see it pushing up, mind you, this is on a daily, so you wouldn't be using this on an intraday time frame. This is more so for swing traders, but the strategy is still the same. I'm just looking at this because it's a lot easier to read instead of going down to the 5 minute and seeing a bunch of these candlesticks, you know what I mean? But just in general, if you see price right here, you see a bearish, a bullish engulfing and moving average crossover, and you get in. Let's imagine this was a 15-minute time frame, or the 1 hour or 2 hour. Your first take profit would be here because this is where price previously wicked in the past. Nothing says at all that price will burst through here and just head all the way up here or even further. So we want to make sure we protect our profits and we maximize our earnings in our trade. So first take profit is here because you can't have multiple take profits. I'll get into that in series 3 in the partial profit section, but you can have multiple profits. Take profits. So first take profit is here, right here. And then a price were to break out of here, you got to look over here and see, like you always want to go back in time and see where price stopped at in the past. You see over here when price got here in March of 2020, it completely collapsed. Just fell all the way to hell. You know what I mean? So when price is up here again, you want to be very mindful. So if you took, let's say you took all your money right here and it wasn't partial profit and you're looking to re-enter, I would be very wary in terms of, how profitable that trade will be, risk to reward ratio rise. Because if you are somebody who, in your strategy, mind you, your strategy is your strategy. I'm just giving you guys my strategy. Like mine is always 1 to 3 or higher. So if this didn't provide a 1 to 3 opportunity, I wouldn't have gotten in. But if you guys are 1 to 1 or 1 to 2, and if you want to get in, feel free to understand that price has to stop here due to what it did in the past. If it breaks above here, then we can start seeing, 136 levels, 135 levels, excuse me. This will be the next target. But you always want to go with what price did in the past. Just like I said in setting up your charts, you want to set up your charts. I don't know why I deleted the other one, the other key level. I'll bring that back on actually. You want to set up your charts, your majors, your minor level to try to keep the charts as clean as possible. And like I said, I have just these little lines, these horizontal rays over here. Horizontal rays are obviously not the same as the line. The line is fully long. A ray is just halfway or to the point where you click it at. So I like these a lot better because I can just kind of tell. But like I said, I'm more of a naked trader. Another example would have been the Fibonacci extension. So you can see clear as day. Another trade could have been. I'm not tell you where to enter. I'm just saying where to get out. Like you get out at these levels, like this one. The price comes back down. I'm looking for it to break here after, like, obviously it breaks below here. My next profit is right here, and then we go below there. We're looking at right here, and then we're looking at right here. Like I try to go where price stopped at in the past. I do have major levels. I don't have them plotted on here right now, but I do know, at 1.30, 127, 500, 125, the quarter theory. I use that as well. That is explained full detail in series 3. And I'm trying to get you guys to understand, because that's more of a swing trader's level. That's not more so for an intraday, if that makes sense. That's why I'm not explaining it in series 2. This series is for intraday traders who are trying to get in on Monday and get their money by Monday night. Get in Tuesday, get their money by Wednesday morning. You know what I mean? Not for people who are trying to get in Monday and then get their money on Wednesday or Thursday, which is still pretty good and pretty profitable and a lot easier. I wouldn't say it's easier because it's harder on your psychology to see price going against you, but you're playing the long game. But it's definitely a lot easier to see how these candlesticks, they take some time. You can just relax as opposed to being a scalper and seeing all these little candles. You know what I mean? But another way for an exit is the extension. So I see a Fibonacci from here to here. Let me actually delete everything really quick. See it. A, B is right here. C, 38.2. We're not talking about entries. We talked about that in the entry work 1, 2, and 3. We're just looking at exits. So obviously, hindsight is 2020. The price got way up here, but our first take profit is this 127 level. Our second one, if it breaks past that, 61.8 level. And you want to have, like, the more confluences, the better, because you got to look at it. This 27 lines up perfectly with this level that we had on originally, right? Well, I didn't have a box that had a horizontal ray. Excuse me. So within a few pips shy, it lines up perfectly. This would have been a clear-cut, easy level on, all right, price is going to go to 38.2, then come right back up. You're going to find as many confluences as possible with your trades. You can even go back in time and see, in general, where price stopped at before, in terms of whether it's, like I said, Fibonacci or wicked out or anything in general. Let's look over here, just in general. We see this area right here where price stopped at. Two things. One, if price, and that's like a estimate, I wouldn't draw it that big, but heads up. If price is heading up, you don't want to have a take profit way up here because price is not showing it can go up there recently. It hasn't been over there since 2016. So why would I assume it would go up there again? Right now, we got to play what we see. What we see is I saw price get here, consolidated, and dropped. Same over here. Got up here, shooting star, or more of an evening star, but not really, but a little bit, and then it collapsed. Or, you know what I mean? But we won't see that beforehand. All we're seeing is this. So like I said, before you even take this trade to sell it back down, you got to see or understand that price did that before in the past. So just be mindful and just react to what the market is doing. Now, once you reacted, where are your first take profits? Because this is a take profit level, not an entry level. First take profit here. Why? Because price, this was where price plateaued at, stopped right here before pushing up. So we want to take it right here. Once we see price, and this is why I tell people to always take partial profits and not, full profits, which again, I explained in series 3. But once price bolts through here, you're looking at the next profit. Where's the next profit? Way down here, just level right here. You see our price bounce, boom, extension, pulling up. So same with over here. Price gets down here, slowly makes its way right here. So you always want to, play off either the Fibonacci, your key levels, or places where price previously wicked at in the past. I don't have too many support and resistances on here, but if I did have my key levels and draw them on, removing drawings, like I said, all you do is go to a weekly time frame, which I explained in top-down analysis in the next section in Series 2. It's in the series, so you guys can see it clear as day. Actually, I'll explain a little bit now. You just go back in time and see where price stopped at in the past, the majority of the times, and those are your major key levels. And then you dive in on these to find the minor ones. But I'll go into that in the top-down analysis. I think that's in this section, in the things you need to know. So make sure you go watch that. But you only want to look for those 3 things that I have over here. Support and resistance key levels, Fibonacci extension, or a previously wicked area that price did in the past, over and over and over again, no matter what, because they won't steer you wrong. Like if you're trying to figure out where to put your take profit, put it at these 3 levels or these 3 understandings and be cool with it. Be calm, be understanding that this is where it's supposed to be at. If I lose the trade, I lose. But like I said, this is why you keep your risk to reward ratio tight. But you have to build a strategy. And strategies come from doing the same thing over and over and over again. And that is how I got this strategy in general of, being okay with those 3 take profits. Even over here, I see a Fibonacci when price were to come down. A, B, highest to the bottom, just like we did in Series 1. C, 61.8. We're not talking about entries. We're not talking about where you would have entered. I'm talking about just the exit. Exit is 27 or 61.8. And look exactly what price does. Take this, drag it over. Price goes clearly to the 27 extension. Great. We are out the trade, either partially or fully. And if you took partial profits and it went over here, what do? Obviously, you watch it go to 61.8. Just a little bit short of the 61.8, which is why you always want to monitor your trades, not fully just stare at your screen, but check on it from time to time, because you may see, all right, price just, is starting to consolidate around here, and then I got a huge bullish candlestick right here. Let me just get out and take my trade because it doesn't look like it's going to go to a 61.8 extension, which is great. Same with over here. I see another one. A, B, C, 50 extension. Boom, where does it go to? 27 extension. A little bit short, but the same thing. Goes right to it. That is where our take profits always are. One of these 3 levels. Support or resistance, Fibonacci extension area, or a previously wicked area. Use all of those in combination with each other, and that is what a day trader does. He takes his profit at the extension level, and hopefully the extension level lines up with support or resistance, because if it does, you usually can amp up the lot size a little bit and be more confident that, all right, I have 2 or 3 confluences that are telling me it's going to stop at the same place. Let me just, up the lot size and be more trusting that this is exactly what it's meant to do. So I hope this video helped you guys, and I will talk to you in the next video on, I got to go through the list because I'm trying to, knock out every single thing you guys talked about or you guys have asked for. But I'll see you guys in the next video, and I really hope this video helps you guys out a lot. Gang, all right, so I want to talk to you guys about what you should do after you've taken your profits, win or loss. It's very important to understand the psychology on how you should be feeling, how you should be acting after a trade. And a lot of you guys may, go past these videos where I'm just talking because you feel like, more technicals and more fundamentals will improve your trading game. And I'm here to tell you that's not the case at all. All the best traders in the world, all the books I've read, even myself, we are very psychology and risk management based. The technicals, I'm telling you right now, anybody can learn how to technical analysis trade and the definitions and fundamentals in a matter of a few months. It takes years to build that psychology and risk management discipline down. And I want to, break that down. The majority of all, 4 series is psychology and risk management based. There's a lot of technicals in there, don't get me wrong, and fundamentals, but I'm a psychological trader. So what you should do after you're taking your profits, first of all, figure out when you're taking your profits. Are you taking your profits on a Monday morning, Tuesday morning, Wednesday? Are you taking your profits after, a big announcement, news announcement that just came out? Or are you taking your profits and is it a huge amount of profits? Like you're used to making, 200 a day or 500 a day or 1,000, and then you just made some grand trades at like 5,000, 4,000. Figure out what it is. What you should be doing afterwards is relaxing. If you ever close a trade fully, like full profit close, you shouldn't be looking at another trade for at least a few hours. Because here's the psychology behind that. When you win a trade, your mind is automatically like that dopamine, like that's shooting through your mind. It's like over and over and over again. It's like you feel like you're on cloud nine and you're on a whole new high. And you feel like because you made this trade and got 50 pips on a 0.20 lot size, I can do the same thing with a 0.50 or a standard. You know what I mean? And then you place another trade literally an hour later with a way higher lot size, and you just lost that trade and the money you made right beforehand. When you lose a trade and you go right back in, all you're doing is revenge trading. I just lost $200. I got to get that back. That's not how you trade. What you should be doing after every single one of your trades, after you lose, document it all. And I get more into documenting in Series 3, but document it all. Once you win a trade, fall back, relax, look at that money and see, all right, do I want to take all of it out? Not all of it out, excuse me. Do I want to take 60% of that money out? Or do I want to, let the whole thing run and then get more and more and more? The reason why I said if you close the trade fully, why you got to stop trading is because if the trade was so good or there were more opportunities to trade, you would just scale in on top of that original trade. You wouldn't close the trade out originally. Like if you're closing the entire trade out and then an hour later you're trying to stop doing that. While you're actively in a trade and the trade is running, that is when you should be placing more trades and stacking and scaling if you want to do that. But the minute you close a trade fully, let your brain rest, let your brain recover, relax, and then go back into it the next day. Remember what I said about, the goals and the honeymoon phases and everything else in general in terms of rewarding yourself? Figure out what it is that you need to be rewarded. How much money are you making right now without the market in your real life? Okay, cool. How much money would you side money would you like to make in the market? Once you figure that out, have the list. Like I want to make an extra 300 a week, 500 a week, 1,000 a week. No matter how small, how high it is, make that list. Once you make that list, I see a lot of people hitting what they put on the list, and they get so greedy that they want to triple and quadruple it when the market and God is giving you exactly what you asked for. So make sure you're smart about that. But this is the same with me. Like if I see a trade that's going well, I'll just scale it in. Whenever I fully close, trade's done. Let me relax, let me watch the game, let me do what I got to do. I'll come back to the market the next day. We are day traders. And mind you, this is an intraday strategy. So I'm not talking to the people who are swing traders and scalpers. I'm talking to the intraday traders right now. Once you place a trade and you get out that trade, it's a whole new trading day the next day. And you should look at it as that. So I'll see you guys in the next video. And I hope you guys take it to heart. So, things you should know, the pairs to trade during specific sessions. We're going to go through the Asian session, the London session, and the New York session. So in Series 1, we talked about what those sessions entail. But right now, we're going to talk about specific pairs to trade. So, Asian session. Believe it or not, I trade Asian session a lot, probably more than any other session, because my favorite pairs are gold and GBP AUD. And they seem to move a lot during Asian and London. Not so much during New York, but I found a lot of my success trading gold around that 7 o'clock, 6:30 Los Angeles time frame, the 9 o'clock New York time. You know what I mean? Like a few hours after the market reset, I see gold starts to, move around a little bit, try to find its feet, clear direction. And then I really find it takes off, London session. Midnight, 1, 2 in the morning in LA time, which is obviously 3 hours behind New York time. And when I made the $7,000 in a day, $15,000 in a day, 25 in the week, all of that came from gold and during the same time. So what I want you guys to understand is don't trade the pair that moves the fastest or quote unquote looks the best. Trade the pair that works the best with your time schedule. So if you work a 9 to 5, you know what I mean? And you really can't be on your phone at work. You really shouldn't be trading New York session because you're at work the entire time. If you are, during this pandemic time, if you are just chilling at home and you do a lot of freelance work or your work is once or twice a week, then trade with the times you are awake. Don't automatically try to change your schedule to start trading at 2 o'clock in the morning if your body is already not wired to, be up at that time or you don't like being up at the time. If you had a past, like if you used to wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning or work overnight shifts or be a college athlete or high school athlete where you woke up in the morning to, get early morning workouts, then cool, feel free to switch back over to that. But if you've never woken up at 2 o'clock or 1 o'clock in the morning, don't try now. So agent session, if you like trading, and let's go off New York time. If you like trading between 6 p.m. and like midnight or 6 p.m. and 11, that's the time where you'll either, you'll be on your phone, you'll look at the chart, you'll analyze, you'll place your alert. So if your alert gets hit, you'll place a trade, then you go on about your day, watch TV, be with your husband and your wife. These are the pairs you should be looking at. Japanese yen, Aussie, New Zealand, all of these countries, it's the agent session. Their news, all their fundamental announcements comes out around these times. Like during agent sessions, you'll see a lot of yen news, Aussie news, New Zealand news, and you won't see Great Britain news, but you'll see Australia news. And then you got to understand that the agent session and the London session overlap. So during that overlapping period, GA is very volatile and gold is very volatile. So London session, GBP USD, of course. Great Britain, Euro USD, of course. GBP AUD again, the overlapping. Euro GBP, excuse me. This pair is not as volatile as the others, but it's still a cool pair. Gold as well. Gold moves a lot during the early, I would say the first 2-3 hours during London session. But once people in London, the businesses and the traders and the investors and everybody else, take their lunch break, that is when, gold tends to kind of, relax and die up a little bit. Their lunch break is around, I want to say around 5 in the morning, New York time, maybe 5 or 6. I would say around 5 or 6 is when, they go out for lunch before they come back in to catch the overlapping of New York for people in London to finish their day. But people in New York are coming in, obviously cracking their knuckles, getting ready to go to work, getting ready to start trading in these sessions. These are the pairs you should be looking at for, if you are a London trader, if you're an overnight trader, if you like being up in the middle of the night. I preferably do. I like Asian in London the best. And these are the pairs to stick to. GJ is very, very volatile. So unless you've been trading for some time, I wouldn't even start trading this because it moves very volatile. Gold is just as volatile, but it's more smoother. It is so smooth. This is not that smooth. But these are the pairs. Try to stick to pairs that have the Great Britain pound in it or the euro in it. And now New York session, of course, Euro USD with the overlapping of London, the London session and the New York session, the two biggest countries. Here, in terms of, when I say two biggest countries, I mean in terms of, the currency pair. It's the most liquid because it is the most actively traded pair. So you will see in whatever broker you have, Euro USD is usually always has the smallest spread because this is the most actively traded pair amongst all the other pairs. USD CAD, New York session, a lot of Canadian news comes out around 8:30 in the morning, New York time. Gold a little bit, not so much, only because it has the USD here. Now, obviously, if there's anything United States, news related in a positive direction, it'll shoot gold down. Or if US news that comes out is negative, it'll shoot gold up. Understand that, remember, the US news don't come out during Asian and London session. It comes out in New York, and that directly affects gold. Not as heavily as Asian and London session, but since it's directly correlated with the US dollar, it'll affect it. GU, just off the strength of the ending session of the overlapping London session that, was with New York as well. So you'll find a lot of the times that, pairs that are actively the highest traded pairs in one session will kind of creep over to the next session just a little bit for the first 2 hours. So GU is one and USD JPY is another as well. And you can go back to the first one, USD JPY. So you see how USD JPY is one of the least traded pairs in New York session. I wouldn't say least, but it doesn't move as much as these. It's gearing up for the Asian session, and same with these, with GBP AUD, gearing up for the London session. It's they all kind of formulate together. So figure out what time frame works the best for you based on your job, based on your freelancing, based on your availability, whether you have kids or don't have kids. Figure out the time frame. Once you have the time frame and you get to series 3 and figure out how to put alerts on and why you won't be sitting at a chart for 10 hours straight, and probably how you'll only be on a chart for 30 minutes, maybe an hour at the most per day. We talk about that a lot in series 3. But with this right now, figure out the time that works the best for you, and then you're able to go in and pick what pairs you want because you know what time works best for you. And at that point, you should be focusing on mastering a pair or having two pairs that you always trade so you know the ins and outs of them. So I hope that video helped you guys out a lot. Make sure you figure out what time frame works the best for you, and then from there you pick what currency pairs you'd like to trade from. So top-down analysis, let's talk about that for a bit. So all it really means is going from the top of, a time frame all the way down, to find your entries and find where you can enter the market. So what you want to do, if you're an intraday trader, because like I said, this whole section is about intraday trading, you want to start on a weekly time frame. Well, let's start on a weekly, yeah. Only because the daily, when you back up in time, it starts to get all you can't even make out the candlesticks. So I'm just going back for the weekly just to plot my major support and resistance, but I'm not looking on the weekly to trade. That's only for the highest of highest swing traders, not at all. Just like I told you in the entry work video, I don't even look at the weekly really. But if you're trying to do top-down analysis, for sure, start on the weekly, get a horizontal line, and just look for areas to find your support and resistance where price stopped over and over again, right? So I can kind of see, here clear as day. This is an area where price stopped here, broke a little bit above it, but didn't really close and go fully up. Once it went to retest, stopped here, stopped there, and stopped over here as well. So that's a support level. And I can kind of see here as well, where I do see price, not just because it's here, but it's here. And I see price stopped here, stopped here, stopped here, stopped here, stopped here, came here, stopped, then broke through, stopped here, over here, stopped here, over here, consolidated, dropped. So now I have my two areas. I have my support and my resistance, right? So what I want to do right now, just for a simple top-down analysis, is just draw, a ray around it, just so you can kind of measure out your key levels and understand exactly what the market plans on doing, right? Cool. Now you have those plotted on, so you know exactly what the market wants to do going forward. It wants to go, this is my support, this is my resistance, and you can even label it on here as well, if it help you better. Text, major resistance at 1.35. You can even round it up to 1.36. Let's just round it. You know what I mean? Major resistance. And over here, right here, right? Cool. So another way to find a resistance or support below is price moves and cycles and levels. So what you can do, a quick tip, is to take this price range, measure it from this one to this one, place it right above, and then clone it by placing another resistance there. Clone this over here, click clone, mix another one, and just place it right here. Price moves and levels, you see over here. Price stopped here, dropped back down. Had some problems. Every time it got below here, it pulled back up. Got below here, pulled back up. Got below here, pulled back up. What you should know is if price does not close and retest and then come back down, price is holding firm. Price over here just held firm. We go back in time, and you can see clear as day. Price stopped here, came down, stopped here, broke here, retested, dropped. So, and like I said, I didn't even premeditate this before the video. This is just me just knowing how technical analysis works in general. Just, your major key levels, top-down analysis. So now that you have your major support and resistance labeled on here, and you do the same thing below. If price breaks below, you do the same thing below. So now that you have your major levels on, now it's going to dive in really into these candlesticks and see exactly what the market is doing and try to find, our minor levels. I can see here the horizontal ray that price stopped here twice, even over here. 1, 2, 3, just wicked above. So my levels is right here at this 1.34457 level. It's telling me that this is a minor level. This is my halting point. If I would have got in right here, this would be my first take profit. My second one would be up here. So when price is going up and it's going up and it's going up, right now I'm expecting it to either, if not retest this, head back down. Because if price retests this, then it may make a higher low, then head back up. But right now, what I'm seeing here, you can look for your trend lines as well for top-down analysis. A, right across the line. B, C. And this is how you see that clear as day price is struggling with. price can easily do two things. One, head all the way down here, or it can break above this line and then go to point B, which is right here. Like I said, I wouldn't have a box here because I already have it here, which is why I have a line. I'm trying to show you guys. And point A right here as well. Remember what I said in the trend lines video. Usually when price breaks above a level that's a trend line, it goes right to point B and point A. So now that I did top-down analysis, I have my, support and resistance on. I have my trend line. There's no Fibonacci, not here. There's no Fibonacci to place here. If you got in earlier, there could have been a Fibonacci, right here. A, B, B's right here. C got to the, near the 50, 38.2. Then where did it drop? This 27 extension lined up perfectly with our key level. This is why I told you in the last video of, your exit strategies. You can up the lot size in a case like this because they match up perfectly. But there's no Fibonacci from here to here. So now all we're doing right now, just like I said in the entry work video, we're just waiting. Right now we're just playing the waiting game. We are literally just sitting here and waiting until price may make a, a higher low, come back down here. Where's it at? Make this higher low, come back down here. But if you start to see it pulling up and like a bullish engulfing, this is a little bit of entry work as well. Boom, this is your entry right here. This confirmation. Be a little aggressive. Let it go up. First take profit here, second take profit there. But that is all you do with top-down analysis. You find your support and resistance. You find your trend line. You look at the candlesticks and see what it is, what it's doing, and that's all you do. If there's a place for Fibonacci, then you place it on, but if there's no place, just leave it as it is. And like I said, it may seem like there's a lot more to, marking a chart up and top-down analysis. This is all it is. You start from the top, 15-minute, then work your way down. All my levels are on. Now I'm looking at a 1-hour time frame to see what price was to do. Is it going to head down, then head back up? Then when it does head back up, you can look on the 15-minute time frame for your entries. So let me say that again. You start on a weekly, draw your major support and resistance, head down to the 4-hour, find your trend line, then head down to the 1-hour and just see what monitor price. If price breaking above here, because it'll show a lot faster here than it will on a 4-hour daily, because obviously a few 1-hour time frames make up one 4-hour candlestick. Then if you see it bursting, go down a little further to find that entry, because again, a few 15-minute candlesticks, will show up faster here than it will on a 1-hour time frame. And that is top-down analysis. You start at the top, you work your way all the way down until you can find a perfect entry, which I definitely explained in the entry work video. So I hope this video helped you out a lot, but like I said, I don't want to oversimplify it, but that's literally all it is. You find your major support and resistance, you find your trend line, you look at the price and market structure for what it is, and which is obviously the candlesticks, and then you wait. And you don't simply just wait and stay at the charts all day. You have your alerts set up, but like I said, I explain alerts a lot more in another series. But right now, this is all top-down analysis, all it is. So I will see you guys in the next video. I'm so happy to be creating the 2.0 course of the Swag Academy to, just inform you guys on how to accurately trade the market and give you guys a foundation to trade. Right now in this video, I'm going to talk about strictly stop loss purposes and where to place them every single time. I'm not going to get too much into entries in this video or anything of this nature. We're just specifically talking about stop losses for, your risk management profile. So with your risk management, in another video, I'll talk about, what it should be, obviously 1 to 3, 1 to 4, and why that plays a big part. But we're going to talk about strictly structure and price action. So let me just remove the moving averages just for a second. Just get a clear chart of just actual candlesticks. So obviously anybody can see this is going up. So if you don't know the stop losses by now, which you should already, a stop loss basically protects you from losing too much money at any given point in time. Meaning, if you're at the gym, if you are, on your phone, but like you're on social media, or you're talking to like a spouse or something, and you're not really paying attention to the market, it really helps you, filter out losing too much money. Like if you don't want to lose more than $100 or more than $500, with a stop loss, you won't ever. There may be that 1% chance where the news is going crazy and like you may, experience slippage and like, a late, like late exit and all that stuff. And it's like, or even you may experience a situation where price may get you out, and on the chart, it doesn't look like it hit your stop loss, but it did. Obviously, the market was going too fast and it couldn't accurately, show it on the chart. That's, once in a blue moon when there's too much volatility, like, Brexit and all the crazy, news announcements that come out. But right now with stop losses, and, the majority of the time, it's this. So let's say, for instance, if you were to get in like somewhere within these candlesticks because you see the consolidation, you can clearly see clear as day. Like I said, I'm not even gonna focus on entries. Let's just say you see this here. We have this trend line. We have, this support right here where 1, 2, 3, this is where the top part is. So you can see consolidation is here, right? Price breaks out of consolidation, closure above, confirmation, you get in right here, right? Your stop loss has to be every single time right here. Right below this line, but a few pips below. Why is that? It's because this will be considered essentially a break of structure. So if price is making higher highs and higher lows, which you already know, it won't come back down and break structure, create a new lower low, and then go back up. Then it'll just create a lower low, will come down, and it'll start creating more lower lows and lower highs, and it'll be a downtrend. So you always want to put it structure-wise a few pips below the last lower low. In a higher low, in an uptrend. So while price is going up, it comes down, it goes up, it comes down, it never stops you out. Now, here is where you put your stop loss into actual break even or even profit. Now, we entered right here. Let me just make this green too so people can obviously see it better. All right, cool. This is our entry. This is our stop loss. I'm gonna make that red. Right? Cool. So we would need anywhere below this green number or green line would be considered negative. Draw down negative, 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 stopped out. So when price is going up and coming down and creating, a higher low, up, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher. The more it does that, that is when you can accurately move your stop loss into break even. You take this, and mind you, this is break even, so actually into profit. You take this, you move this way up here because this is now the last higher low, and you won't notice until it's done. Once you see like a retracement and price starts going up again, feel free to move your stop loss into actual profit. So at the end of the day, if price does this where it goes up, and then something happens and it comes all the way back down, guess what? It stopped you out, but you didn't lose any money. You probably made, depending on your lot size, $100, a few $100, $1,000, a few $1,000, depending on your lot size. Now, the more it makes higher lows and higher highs, you just keep moving it. I'm sorry. Back up some. Let's grab it. You just keep moving it to over here. Boom. Now that's your, your new stop loss. It goes up. Boom. Higher low. This is your new stop loss. You can say here. Here's your new real stop loss. Boom. Go up again. New stop loss. New stop loss. And you can see now you're so much into profit that if this trade decides to come crashing down, this was 125,750, right? So this was 1.25750. Boom. And this right here is 129, I would just say 200. 1.29200. Off the top of my head, that is 450. That is 345 pips. You are in profit. 345 pips. So if it takes you out, you were 345 pips in profit. And obviously, if you multiply that by your lot size, that's how much money you would have made. That is a lot of money. A lot of money. So you want to be mindful. You want to be very, very, very mindful of what you're doing, because if you had a 1.00 lot size, you just made $3,450. If you had a 2 lot size, you made around $6,800 or $6,900. Obviously the original profit times 2, and it goes up and up and up. Or if you had a lesser of a lot size, you would have made less money. It goes just like that. But that is what you call a risk-free trade, where you don't got to worry about it no more. And this is where you keep your risk management always on point, because when price is below, all right, now you got to make sure, obviously you may be able to lose this trade. It can go negative. It may take some money out of your account. Once you start seeing structure being made, move your stop loss into either break even if the structure was on break even. This was not, it was a little bit above. So move it right below this, and guess what? Now you're in a risk-free trade. Risk-free means there's no chance you will lose any type of money. It may stop you out, but if it stops you out, it stops you out in profit. It doesn't matter if it's $100 in profit. It stopped you out in profit. And you want to get in the habit of creating that habit, because that is what all the good traders do, where it's like we try to be as risk-free as possible. We are not avert to risk. Like, we definitely take risk, which is why we're even in this market. But at the same time, we want to minimize our risk, which is what all investors and day traders do. When you're actually in the market, you're actually in trades. You want to see, how can I obviously make the most money while executing and minimizing all the risk possible. And this is the way to do so, where, that 1-to-4, 1-to-3, 1-to-5 risk to reward ratio, the one played a factor, because at the end of the day, you still made some money. Now, the goal is to obviously move your stop loss a few pips below the last low. So if price comes to retest this same level, remember, you don't want to put it on it or a little bit, or like close to below, because price can easily, if price wanted to, price could easily come right back here and then come up, because it never closed below this level. Just like I said over here, if it came down, closed below, it wouldn't close below and then head up. It just started making lower highs and lower lows. So you got to be mindful. You don't want to place it right on it, because price can easily retest this level as support, just like it did over here, 1, 2, 3, and then push up if it wants to. You want to place it a few pips below, so you know that if price were to come down, so you know already, if price were literally to come down and close and hit this level and stop you out, chances are it's making, a lower high and a lower low. So I hope this video helped you guys, but understand with the risk management, the goal is not to place a trade. Like I say this all the time, if you are 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, whatever pips in profit, and you end up losing that trade or losing money, that is your fault. You always want to make sure you at least take partial profit, or at least place your stop loss in profit, so you minimize the risk and it's a risk-free trade. So feel free, if your stop loss is here, and then it's here, and then it's here, but you see it still going up, but like from here, the break even or the enter point all the way up here, you're up, let's say $1,000 or $1,500. Take half of that out and let the other $750 run. Or if you're up $3,000, take $2,000 out, let the $1,000 run. If you're up $500, take $250 out, let $250. You know what I mean? Like just be mindful. Always make sure if you're in profit, and I don't mean like quickly in profit. Like I said before, it depends on your lot size. If you're using a 1.00 lot size, making $100 means nothing to me, because that's just 10 pips. But if you're using a 0.10 lot size and you made $100, that means you're about 100 pips in profit. You know what I mean? So it depends on your lot size. But the goal is obviously, while you're significantly, amount and a good amount in profit, to make sure you at least make it a risk-free trade by putting your stop loss into at least break even or in profit, but also taking some of that money and putting it into your bank account, aka your trading account, before you obviously transfer it over. So you can obviously, use the market for what you're here for. You're here to make money. You know what I mean? You're not here to see floating profit and see you making money on MetaTrader 4 and screenshot it and put it on Instagram, but never close it or close half of it. Or you put on Instagram you were up 2,000 and you were up 2,000, and then an hour later you're only up $500, and you never updated your Instagram to show that you only closed $500, because you didn't have the wit and the expert knowledge to at least close half of that into your account, or even the full thing, and just call it a day because you reached your goal for the day. Like, all profit is good profit. So I hope this video helped you guys, and I will see you guys in the next video. I'm so happy to be creating the 2.0 course of the Swag Academy to, just inform you guys on how to accurately trade the market and give you guys a foundation to trade. Right now in this video, I'm going to talk about strictly stop loss purposes and where to place them every single time. I'm not going to get too much into entries in this video or anything of this nature. We're just specifically talking about stop losses for, you know, your risk management profile. So with your risk management, in another video, I'll talk about, you know, what it should be, obviously 1 to 3, 1 to 4, and why that plays a big part. But we're going to talk about strictly structure and price action. So let me just remove the moving averages just for a second. Just get a clear chart of just actual candlesticks. So obviously anybody can see this is going up. So if you don't know the stop losses by now, which you should already, a stop loss basically protects you from losing too much money at any given point in time. Meaning, if you're at the gym, if you are, you know, on your phone, but like you're on social media, or you're talking to like a spouse or something, and you're not really paying attention to the market, it really helps you, you know, filter out losing too much money. Like if you don't want to lose more than $100 or more than $500, with a stop loss, you won't ever. There may be that 1% chance where the news is going crazy and like you may, you know, experience slippage and like, you know, a late exit and all that stuff. And it's like, or even you may experience a situation where price may get you out and on the chart, it doesn't look like it hit your stop loss, but it did. Obviously, the market was going too fast and it couldn't accurately, you know, show it on the chart. That's, you know, once in a blue moon when there's too much volatility, like, you know, Brexit and all the crazy, you know, news announcements that come out. But right now with stop losses, and, you know, the majority of the time, it's this. So let's say, for instance, if you were to get in like somewhere within these candlesticks because you see, you know, you see the consolidation, you can clearly see clear as day. Like I said, I'm not even gonna focus on entries. Let's just say you see this here. You know, we have this trend line. We have, you know, this support right here where 1, 2, 3. You have, this is where the top part is, so you can see consolidation is here, right? Price breaks out of consolidation, closure above, confirmation, you get in right here, right? Your stop loss has to be every single time right here. Right below this line, but a few pips below. Why is that? It's because this will be considered essentially a break of structure. So if price is making higher highs and higher lows, which you already know, it won't come back down and break structure, create a new lower low, and then go back up. Then it'll just create a lower low, will come down, and it'll start creating more lower lows and lower highs, and it'll be a downtrend. So you always want to put it structure-wise a few pips below the last lower low. In a higher low, excuse me, in an uptrend. So if while price is going up, it comes down, it goes up, it comes down, it never stops you out. Now, here is where you put your stop loss into actual break even or even profit. Now, we entered right here. Let me just make this green too so people can obviously see it better. All right, cool. This is our entry. This is our stop loss. Let me make that red. Right, cool. So we would need anywhere below this green number or green line would be considered negative. You know, draw down negative, 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 stopped out. So when price is going up and coming down and creating, you know, a higher low, up, higher low, you know, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher. The more it does that, that is when you can accurately move your stop loss into break even. You take this, and mind you, this is break even, so actually into profit. You take this, you move this way up here because this is now the last higher low, and you won't notice until it's done. Once you see like a retracement and price starts going up again, feel free to move your stop loss into, you know, actual profit. So at the end of the day, if price does this where, you know, it goes up, and then something happens and it comes all the way back down, guess what? It stopped you out, but you didn't lose any money. You probably made, you know, depending on your lot size, $100, a few $100, $1,000, a few $1,000, depending on your lot size. Now, the more it makes higher lows and higher highs, you just keep moving it. I'm sorry. Back up some. Let's grab it. You just keep moving it to over here. Boom. Now that's your, you know, your new stop loss. It goes up. Boom. Higher low. This is your new stop loss. You can say here. Here's your new like real stop loss. Boom. Go up again. New stop loss. New stop loss. And you can see now you're so much into profit that if this trade decides to come crashing down, this was 125,750, right? So this was 1.25750. Boom. And this right here is 129, I would just say 200. 1.29200. Off the top of my head, that is 450. That is 345 pips. You are in profit. 345 pips. So if it takes you out, you were 345 pips in profit. And obviously, if you multiply that by your lot size, that's how much money you would have made. That is a lot of money. A lot of money. So you want to be mindful. You want to be very, very, very mindful of what you're doing, because if you had a 1.00 lot size, you just made $3,450. If you had a 2 lot size, you made around $6,800 or $6,900. You know, obviously the original profit times 2, and it goes up and up and up. Or if you had a lesser of a lot size, you would have made less money. It goes just like that. But that is what you call a risk-free trade, where you don't got to worry about it no more. And this is where you keep your, your risk management always on point, because when price is below, all right, now you got to make sure, obviously you may be able to lose this trade. It can go negative. It may take some money out of your account. Once you start seeing structure being made, move your stop loss into either break even. If the structure was on break even, this was not, it was a little bit above. So move it right below this, and guess what? Now you're in a risk-free trade. Risk-free means there's no chance you will lose any type of money. It may stop you out, but if it stops you out, it stops you out in profit. It doesn't matter if it's, $100 in profit. It stopped you out in profit. And you want to get in the habit of creating that habit, because that is what all the good traders do, where it's like, we try to be as risk-free as possible. We are not avert to risk. Like, we definitely take risk, which is why we're, even in this market. But at the same time, we want to minimize our risk, which is what all investors and day traders do. When you're actually in the market, you're actually in trades. You want to see, how can I obviously make the most money while executing and minimizing all the risk possible. And this is the way to do so, where, that 1-to-4, 1-to-3, 1-to-5 risk to reward ratio, the one played a factor, because at the end of the day, you still made some money. Now, the goal is to obviously move your stop loss a few pips below the last low. So if price comes to retest this same level, remember, you don't want to put it on it or a little bit, or like close to below, because price can easily, if price wanted to, price could easily come right back here and then come up, because it never closed below this level. Just like I said over here, if it came down, closed below, it wouldn't close below and then head up. It just started making lower highs and lower lows. So you got to be mindful. You don't want to place it right on it, because price can easily retest this level as support, just like it did over here. 1, 2, 3, and then push up if it wants to. You want to place it a few pips below, so you know that if price were to come down, so you know already, if price were literally to come down and close and hit this level and stop you out, chances are it's making, a lower high and a lower low. So I hope this video helped you guys, but understand with the risk management, the goal is not to place a trade. Like I say this all the time, if you are 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, whatever pips in profit, and you end up losing that trade or losing money, that is your fault. You always want to make sure you at least take partial profit, or at least place your stop loss in profit, so you minimize the risk, and it's a risk-free trade. So feel free, if your stop loss is here, and then it's here, and then it's here, but you see it still going up, but like from here, the break even or the enter point all the way up here, you're up, let's say $1,000 or $1,500. Take half of that out and let the other $750 run. Or if you're up $3,000, take $2,000 out, let the $1,000 run. If you're up $500, take $250 out, let $250. You know what I mean? Like just be mindful. Always make sure if you're in profit, and I don't mean like quickly in profit. Like I said before, it depends on your lot size. If you're using a 1.00 lot size, making $100 means nothing to me, because that's just 10 pips. But if you're using a 0.10 lot size and you made $100, that means you're about 100 pips in profit. You know what I mean? So it depends on your lot size. But the goal is obviously, while you're significantly, amount and a good amount in profit, to make sure you at least make it a risk-free trade by putting your stop loss into at least break even or in profit, but also taking some of that money and putting it into your bank account, aka your trading account, before you obviously transfer it over. So you can obviously, use the market for what you're here for. You're here to make money. You know what I mean? You're not here to see floating profit and see you making money on MetaTrader 4 and screenshot it and put it on Instagram, but never close it or close half of it. Or you put on Instagram you were up 2,000 and you were up 2,000, and then an hour later you're only up $500, and you never updated your Instagram to show that you only closed $500 because you didn't have the wit and the expert knowledge to at least close half of that into your account, or even the full thing and just call it a day because you reached your goal for the day. Like, all profit is good profit. So I hope this video helped you guys, and I will see you guys in the next video.
So this may be a very important video as well. Actually, it is. Breakup structure is very important for you to understand in the market. And what I mean by breakup structure is the market is all structure based. Like, all this is all price action. It's all structured. You know, repeats the same patterns. This is why I'm able to place a level right here, and it's still able to respect it right here and right here and right here and right here. Like, price is all structure. So you have to understand breakup structure, you know, fake outs, breakouts, structure, you know, moves, the psychological levels, all of that stuff. So right now I'm going to talk about the fake outs and the breakouts. You have to understand that price, let's say, for instance, let me draw it up here so you guys can see clear as day. Let's say price is, okay, so we have this as a key level, right? That's the key level. We can see price coming up here, right? Slowly coming up here. Now, when price gets here, right, and it gets right here, a lot of new traders would instantly click buy right here, thinking it's going to go up. This is not a completed break of structure, a completed cross over the key level, none of that. A completed cross means price has to break above. Yep. Like it did. No matter, even if it gets this high, it's still not a break yet. Come down and retest the level it just broke. Anytime price breaks through a level, it has to retest that level. This is the retest level, right? So now when price retests, now we can see if price wants to head back down, and this will be labeled right here. This will be labeled as a fake out. It's like market faked everybody out and came back down. Or we can see if price, instead of going down, wants to go up like and continue like it's supposed to. So now if we're looking for entries, if we get a break, there's several entries we could have. So let's back up, let's get into it. So price breaks through here, comes back here. Now, the first entry we could have, if you want to be like conservative, place the line over here. And then whenever price breaks through this line, then you can get in, because now it's broke through the line. And now to go up, retest this, boom, same process as the trend line does. Now, a more aggressive approach would be this is a daily chart, to scale down on like a 1 hour or a 30-minute and see if price, as it's going up, is making little candles. If you see like a doji and then like a big bearish engulfing, you can try to get in right there, stop loss right here, and then watch it rise up and rise up and rise up. But that would be a more aggressive route. That would be a more, okay, I'm predicting it's going to go up. I see a Japanese candlestick that's telling me it's going to go up. I'm not going to wait for it to get up here. I'm going to let it go up here. So either of the two work. Obviously, this would be more safe, but I don't have a problem with you doing it this way as well. My problem is when price breaks through here, you automatically assume it's going to go up. That's not the case. So let's look at some examples. Right here, for example. So my line, if I take these two out, because they're not supposed to be here. Realistically, it's supposed to be like this. Realistically, supposed to have this level. It's supposed to be blacked out. Another level. These are my levels we're supposed to be having here. Realistically, I had the area as a liquidity area because I saw that, price used this area as liquidity, meaning this is where the daily volume was being pumped out of. So every time it got up here, it went back down. Boom, this is a major area. But realistically, this is my key level. So price breaks above. A lot of people would have bought it, and guess what? It just dropped right back down into it. Price never broke above, retested this level, went back up. It just broke right back into it. But many traders would have lost money because the minute they saw a break above, they would have bought it. You have to be patient. Like look at the psychology, section in this course. Be patient. Comes back down. The minute it comes back down with this candle, even if you go on a 15-minute time frame, okay, it's going back in. Now you see it again. Boom, the same thing. Up, down, up, down. It's the same exact thing. Like, you have to wait for it to break out. Like, this is considered another fake out. People would have gotten right here. It went right back down. Same down here. It goes down here. It breaks this little quote-unquote key level. People start selling, and it brings it right back up. You have to be patient and wait for a retest and a continuation. And that is when, price usually breaks out of. Right here, for example, price was heading down for Aussie dollar. Headed down. Broke this key level, and guess what it did? It retested this level. Came up just a little bit more than I would like it to, but it retested the level, and boom, crashed down. That's when you can get in accurately, like, okay, this is a retest and a continuation. Because if you'd have sold after this candle right here, guess what? You'd have lost money because boom, immediately you headed back up. You have to wait for the breakthrough, the retest, and then the boom, continuation. Same thing with here. This right here, guess what it did? Broke through here. Came down, retested this moving average right near the key level, but this is the same, like it's be like obviously an area. Boom. Retested this moving average, then pulled up. Same one over here. Came up back up here, retested this level, the mid level. It didn't retest this level. Same thing, but retested this level. Now it's pulling back up. Hopefully we can see GA head to the upside. So just make sure you're aware that with continuation or with breakthroughs, fake outs, and price breaks an area, the retail traders, which are us, immediately believe it's going in that area. The real trend, breakout, retest, continuation. So keep this in your mind. No retest, no entry. If price does not retest, do not get in the trade. You have to wait for price to retest every single time. I can put a key level right here. Just knowing off the top of my head where the key levels are at. Been here, been here. You just gotta look at it. And look at this. Put this way up here actually. Price would, come up, broke above it, came down, retested, pulled back up. Same over here. Came up. This would have faked all that out. Y'all saw this big ass candle. And in the candlestick session, when you see a big ass candle, that has so much momentum. But guess what? Price didn't care. Pulled right back down. Fake out. Y'all would have bought it up here. Y'all would have lost a whole bunch of money. Like, this market is very intricate. Like, that's not a break of structure. This is a break of structure. Pull up, come down, retest, boom, break of structure. It's heading up. But you have to wait for that retest and that break of structure. Let's look at Euro USD. Boom, price did it just like this. Even right here, price breaks through, retests up way up here, boom, comes back in. Now, obviously, this is a weekly candlestick. Weekly time frame. So obviously, you can scale down to the 4 hour and find easier setups than just that. Like, you can find okay, boom, coming up, lower high right here. Now let's buy it. Like, you can find lower highs and higher lows. You can find all of that. I'm just saying, I'm just looking at the weekly for the breakthroughs, but look for a breakthrough on a 4 hour or 2 hour, something along those lines. Find one and then trade in that direction. So like I said, just use everything as an example for what you really want to do with the market, how you really want to trade it. You need breakthroughs and continuation. Even GU, look at it, come up, broke through, got up here, came back down, continued. Now, somebody may say, why would we miss this whole move right here for this retest? It's not about that. Don't just use one way of trading. You got to understand. I taught this earlier. Went into a daily. Look at this. I'm not saying miss out on all of this and just wait for this retest. Look, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying use anything to engage you to get in. Breakthrough and retest and continuation is a major thing. But sometimes, like I taught you earlier, this is consolidation. What happens in consolidation? When it breaks out, get in. Get in. Like, it broke out of consolidation. Get right back in. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so you don't have to wait for this to happen because this was consolidation. It broke out of a box. It went above the moving average. It was a big momentum candle bursting out of it. Like there's so many confluences why you should have got in here, and there's a confluence why you should have got out right here. This right here showed that sellers are pushing it, trying to push it back down. Doji, get out. It comes back down. It retests. You see this right here. Don't let this fake you out because boom, came down. It retested right here, but it didn't push back down. Like it came down, retested, and it went right back into it. So instead of this small breakout, retest, continuation, it's still following the original one. All the way up, breakout, retest, and now we're trying to continue right now. And like I said, you should play with the market by ear. Like play it, use the structure to help you understand how to trade. This is how I make money in the market. Like, and you look at it right here, you're thinking, okay, like you got to adjust. The market is always adjusting and evolving. So with GU, you would think, okay, broke through up here, retested, and now it's continuing way up here. No, because right here, this shows that sellers are trying to push it back in. This right here showed that, well, first of all, this showed that it wants to break out. It just didn't have the strength to do it yet. This right here shows that it's definitely a seller's market right now because this is a lower high than that high. It didn't come up and match the high. It made a lower high. And it came down, boom, again. And right here is showing that, hey, sellers are really in this market. Price really doesn't know what it wants to do right now, but just be mindful. So be careful of actual structure, actual price. Look what it wants to do. Look everywhere. Don't be wary of fake outs and breakouts. Like know the difference between a fake out and a breakout. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like there's not much to talk about here. I feel like I've talked about market structure and breakup structure in a lot of my videos. I may not have said those words, but like it's kind of the same concept. Like, patience, wait for a retest, wait for confirmation. You need all the confluences in the world in order to place a trade. So yeah, I hope this video helped you out, and I'll holla at y'all.